It's the afternoon session of the 11th season of the ABB FIA Formula E Championship at Jarama. Welcome to another 3 hours of running as the teams and drivers get used to the Evo machines. Green light, and away we go then for the afternoon session. Hello everybody. This morning then it was very much a Porsche domination as well. Cassidy up there with Jaguars, all looking very, very impressive. We had a few stoppages out on the circuit, Cassidy being one of them in the final half an hour of the opening session. Sam Bird stopping on track early on as well, but all things are looking good as well. This afternoon session, you'll hear from the Tokyo E-Prix commentary, and then also from Hunter, who joins us at about 2:30 in about 90 minutes' time. That's from UK time. Then we'll hear quickly as well from all the action from the, what was it? What was after Tokyo? Misano Race 1. And then after that, we'll go trackside once again with Jack Pickering, who will be live at the end of the session to see all of the action out there on the circuit. It's going to be an interesting day. Why are we looking at a motorway? Brad, that is actually the Jarama circuit. Let's take a look at it once more. This is actually the circuit. So there's the motorway. There's a circuit just alongside it. That's Jarama. It's right next to the track here as well. It's absolutely fantastic, the facility here as well. Cars around the circuit and everything's ready to go. So you will keep an eye on the timings. Verline's out there as well in this session. But on the track right now is David Beckman. Then we've also got Taylor Barnard, Sam Bird, Lucas de Grassi, Nick de Vries, Ollie Rowland, Jake Dennis, Dan Ticktum, Eduardo Mortar, and Nico Murley coming through as this out there as well. What track is this? This is Jarama in Spain. It is 20 kilometres away from the centre of Madrid. It's hosted MotoGP World Championship races, and it hosted Formula One as a Spanish Grand Prix as well in the 1970s. And it last held a Grand Prix in 1981. Quite a classic Grand Prix as well. Gilles Villeneuve in the Ferrari, with a problem on the car, held five cars off to take victory at Jarama because the car was slow on the straights but quick in the corners. You can see here at Jarama, it benefits them as well. So let's head back in time then for the next 90 minutes, and then we'll join Ed Hunter as well for some catch-up about this season preview, and we'll turn it back to Season 10's commentary from Tokyo's E-Prix, Round 5 of the season. We are all set to go for a giant leap into the unknown. For so long, Japan has wanted a Formula E round of the championship, and now we've got it. We're deep in the heart of Tokyo at the exhibition centre as well, and it is a great place for a race. Many motorsport fans have dreamed of racing around the streets here. Gran Turismo had the famous Tokyo City street circuits on the motorways. Even Grand Theft Auto have had a little bit of an adventure here. And this street circuit is awesome. 2.585 kilometres as well. The sea on one side. The first corners here are pretty much straightforward. But then when you get to turn 3 and downhill to attack at turn 4, a nasty bump can throw you very hard off the circuit. It's going to be very interesting. 16, 17, 18 seems more like a bobsleigh run as well, a very tight, fast chicane. 19 and 20, pretty much straightforward. Back half of the circuit, turn 9 is the interesting one, flowing up at the back. Let's take a look at your starting grid then from back to front. Sam Bird with a penalty starts from 22nd, but he already qualified there anyway. Same for Sebastian Buemi with 21st. Then it's Sasha Fennerstra starting in 20th. Nick Cassidy has 19th on the grid. Stoffel Van Dorn is 18th with Johan Jaruvalo in 17th place. 16th on the grid goes to Jake Hughes with a penalty. ERT's Dan Ticktum starts in 15th position. 14th for Lucas de Grassi. Jean-Eric Verne starts in 13th. That DS Penske's got more power underneath it. Let's see what it's got later on. Nick de Vries is higher up on the grid than he's liking. He's in 12th position. Norman Nato starts 11th. Top 10 sees Robin Friends alongside Mitch Evans, who starts 9th after a penalty post the Group A stage. Antonio Fish Costa is 8th with Nico Muller starting in 7th. Top 6 sees Pascal Verline, our championship leader before Sao Paulo, really struggling now, down in 6th place. Can that Tag Heuer Porsche find anything in pink? It does look pretty, however, in pink. Jake Dennis alongside him in the Andretti squad as well. In 5th, Sergio Sette Camara. 4th on the grid. 3rd for Eduardo Mortara in the Mahindra. 2nd for Max Gunther in the Maserati. And for his 2nd time this year after Diriyah, Ollie Rowland lines up on pole position. This time, can he get a good start down to turn 1? I'm Joshua Birch, alongside me in the commentary box is Jack Pickering, Pico to his friends, and Ed Hunt has joined in the back of the box to give us analysis throughout the race as well, as he's in a different location, so we'll hear from him hopefully throughout the race. But Pico, we're all set to go, the tension's starting to rise, and now the talking stops, it's race time.
This is the most anticipated moment in Formula E history. The amount of talking we've had about having a race in Tokyo for years and years and years, and it's finally happening today, and we're moments away from lights out.
As we're getting ready then, the tension beginning to rise. Everybody now starts to feel that pressure. Are we going to have this down towards the first corner when the lights go out? Drivers on the right-hand side of the grid have a start advantage due to better track conditions. That's because on the left-hand side of the grid, it was raining yesterday and it has not fully dried up. It's still got a little bit of dampness, but we are good enough for a standing start procedure. Scott Elkin, the race director, not deciding to start behind the safety car like he did in Paris a few years ago. The predictor is saying 22% for Cassidy to win the race. He starts in 19th place. Has that Jaguar got the overtaking? I don't think so. That's a very bold predictor. No. For the first time in Tokyo, all 5 lights are on. Lights out, race on in Tokyo. Great start from Gunther. Mortara's going to have a good run down towards turn 1. Mortara's going to go around the outside. Can he get Rowland as well? It's that first corner. No. Rowland defends on the inside line well. Mortara up into 2nd. Gunther and Dennis. Dennis up to 4th. Dennis holding 4th over the bump for the first time. The two ERTs dropping back as well. Cooper is coming up there, so that's both the Alps down in positions. Verline up to 6th as we round turn 3. McLaren battling as well down there. Hughes versus De Vries, and up there going as well comes one of the, I can't see which one, I think it's going to be Verne, but now they're all Constantine and Pico. Great start.
Very importantly, not everyone made it through that first technical section of 8 corners, and especially over that bump down that ramp. But yeah, fantastic start for Rowland. I thought Mortara was going to go for it for a second there, but he's up 2nd ahead of Gunther. And great start for Dennis. I'm not sure why people are picking Cassidy. He hasn't made any positions from 19th.
Side by side further back as Evans gets ahead of Nato. Nato's going to fight back there at the exit. Has he made the move? I can't see. Let's continue to change the pictures. Dennis and Sette Camara battling out. That's Dennis actually now with Gunther at the back of him. And Mortara, 4 tenths behind. He's still up there and he's looking to the inside line. That is a side by side battle. Jake Dennis feeling lucky. He's going to try and make a move on Gunther. That didn't pay off down in towards turn 12 and 13.
That was a very, very risky move from Jake Dennis to try and go into that chicane. It's one line through there, and so to try and even risk it to go down there wasn't a sensible idea. He's got an entire lap to think about where to make a move elsewhere.
Porsche's under attack as well further back. Verline trying to pass Sette Camara and he's going all over the track. Verline could not get through on the inside line. Now we're seeing as well Evans under attack. Well, he's trying to attack Muller, but jumping over. No one's going for attack mode just yet. Thinking about it was Jaruvela. He was going a little bit out there, but Rowland leads from Mortara at the end of lap 1. Then it's Gunther, Dennis, Sette Camara in 5th position as well. Then we get Verline to Costa, Freins, Nato, Muller the top 10. Evans just on the outside of that now, down to 11th position. He started in 9th, 2 places lost at the start, and he's struggling with rear grip as he comes through turn 9. And down the straight towards turn 10. Little bit of left, little bit of right. Now he's trying to swing around the outside and defending hard. Great defence from Muller, though. This is great from the out cars.
Yeah, coming into that turn 10-11 chicane, it's a very tricky corner to make a move on. Even though you've got that nice long straight with a kink in it to try and make a pass, it's a very quick chicane that it is. So it's a little bit like the back straight in London, where you can't really make a move going into that chicane at the end of the straight.
Mortara all over the back of Rowland as they come back into 19 and 20. Well, 19 20, the last 2 corners, then back across the start line we go for the 3rd time around here. And it's Rowland leading the way. Mortara's closing in behind him. It's a fantastic little gap that they've got bringing up. They've got Gunther right behind, but the gap then is 9 tenths, top 3 within a second, but no one's getting away as problems there for one of the Porsches. That's Da Costa, and he's holding up. Robin Friends coming out of 3. Friends almost having to go over the top of him over that bump.
Yeah, that bump is really going to catch people out over the course of the race. So we saw it over the course of practice and qualifying as well, that you can't go too quickly down and over that ramp because it really will unsettle the car. Usually we've seen Mortara and Strauss hit the wall already during practice and qualifying.
Verline to the inside line, gets ahead of Santa Kamara as well, so gets a good run as they attack back through. Our driver tracker is miles behind at this point as well. Apologies for that. We'll try and see if it will reset itself shortly, but brilliant start in this race. Attack modes have now been taken. Ticktum, Fenestraz, Van Dorn, Ticktum, Fenestraz and Boemi. Why Van Dorn flashed up on my side, I don't know. But the driver tracker having a bit of a moment, and it has frozen.
Fastest lap for Stoffel Van Dorn. He's in 20th place though, so not much to say. However, Muller takes it, and then I think that's Fenestraz taking it again. So fastest lap at this point in the race is completely irrelevant. But yeah, no, I think that might be why it flashed up on our screen.
Oh, and Da Costa's in the wall. Da Costa's been forced back through further back, and that's Dennis down into 4th. Verline's got through for 4th position, but Da Costa further back has been having trouble. So both Porsches having a little bit of argy-bargy as they come through the first few seconds of this track. So they're having a bit of trouble, but that's Da Costa back down to 8th place after running inside in 6th. So here's a replay of the start though, Pico. Talk us through what you saw.
Well, liking Dennis, but I want to look at Eduardo Mortari. He gets the best start of the top 3. He tries to go round the outside of Ollie Rowland, but that's not really going to work down into turn 1. And Jake Dennis just lines up, sets camera around the outside, and that's a fantastic move for the reigning champion to get up into the top 4. And I honestly think Jake is one of the hot favourites for the win today.
Edge just said in the chat, Mortara saving more energy behind Rowland. Interesting as well. As
we're not. I don't think we're going to see a race like Sao Paulo where the person who's leading is using too much power. Obviously they will, but it won't be as extreme as Sao Paulo was.
Yeah, that's the only good thing, I suppose, coming into this one is that we're going to have this style of racing, this continued attack formation. It's not going to be the usual, what do they call it, peloton. Oh, go on.
A very good move from Antonio Felix da Costa down into turn 1 on set of camera.
So a nice move going through on the inside line as we've got a few tech issues coming into it. So Da Costa down to 7th. Anyone taking attack mode? Few of them. Ticktum taking, has got 4, 6 minutes. Contact into the wall. One of them. That was Fenestraz trying to come back into position and getting bullied out backwards as well. He's down to 20th place. Van Dorn shoving him in towards the wall. Nato down to 10th position as well there, Pico.
Yeah, interesting to see Fenestraz and Boemi at the back of the pack taking both their attack modes before everyone else.
So they'll continue to have the attack between them in this one. And this is getting very, very tense now. You do not want to lose anything in this early run as well because it could affect you later on. But those Porsches starting to come into their own now in this E-Prix. Now we've got the correct gap between them. Go on, Pickup.
We usually start to see the Porsche. Porsches we usually see have a bit of a slow burner. So, Verline up to 5th now can really make a charge, especially in the championship. He's only a few points behind Nick Cassidy in the series at the moment. So this is a huge open goal for him to take the championship lead with Cassidy now up to 17th. Made his way past Ticktum and Van Dorn.
Yeah, we had Verline leading the championship early on in the season as well, but Cassidy got it away after some great manoeuvres early on in the season, and then dropped it a little bit. Bird actually was the big surprise. He jumped up the championship order with that victory in Sao Paulo as well. Porsche, I'm just keeping an eye on them because they're steaming to try and tag team with each other because they've got Friends in between, but Da Costa slowly coming back into it. He sending Kamara down into 8th position after starting in 4th place. Tictum's running out of attack mode. He's got 1 minute 23 left. Felicitas Boemi took 6 minutes. Bird, I think, also took that long. Oh, and Muller and NATO are under investigation for causing negligence. Here's Gunther's radio.
You can just see how fast the Prodesic
It's difficult. We got the 2 Porsche and 100 TBI. I think Edo is getting to struggle a bit now.
Oh, and Tictum, and that's Hughes. Hughes is off. Hughes into the wall or something down there. Double yellow at turn 15. Yellow flags are out. Hughes is off the track and he's jocketed down into 22nd position. So Jake Hughes is off the track. Yeah, he's down at turn 15. He's just come to a stop and he's into the tyre barrier. Now, they should be able to get reversed there, Pico. Shouldn't need a safety car for that one. It's just a little touch to the nose against the barrier.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone in straight, which is the perfect angle that you want to go into a wall if you have to go into a wall. So hopefully he'll just be able to find reverse, be able to reverse out and rejoin. But he will need a safety car now to have any chance of getting back to the pack.
So let's hope he doesn't cause it, but both Neo McLarens are right to the back. Bird in 21st, Hughes in 22nd position as well as they come through. No one taking attack mode. Oh, no, correction. Who just took, oh, that was Bird who took another 6 minutes. So he took 2 to begin with. Now he's taken 6 minutes to go forward. Now, that car has, I think, resumed. Well, apparently it's resumed, but it's still saying double yellow at turn 15. But
there might be some debris.
Yeah.
There might be some debris down at 2:15.
Green flag. Yeah, we're racing. I was going to say, because I've got Hughes coming. Well, we just saw him. He's taking attack mode of 6 minutes as well. So yeah, that's debris that they were cleaning up there. Flying through.
Yeah. I assume that will be his front wing that was left down at T15, and he can continue with that. And as we're seeing, was that Dennis trying again on Max Gunther?
Oh, and Frine's getting forced out by Da Costa just further back as well. Did he make through? Yes. Great move from Da Costa. My word, the chicane. Didn't expect that. That was at 17 and 18. He forced his way through on the inside line. Roland's now going against the left-hand side of the track to try and go defensive, trying to break that toe to Mortar. But Dennis, as you said, all over the back of Gunther for 3rd position as we look further back. And there's the other one. That's Jaruvula trying to have a look at Vern. Van Dorn now down in 18th position. Bad race for DS Penske. Great race for everybody else up front. It's an underdog story, and Porsche trying to come back and take it away from the Maseratis, the Mahindras, and of course Nissan on home soil. Pink Porsche want to do better than the Cherry Blossom Nissan. There's the oil flag.
That was a mad move from Da Costa going into the chicane to get Robin Frines. They only put that chicane in about a week ago because there was a bump there that's even worse than the one at turns 2 and 3. So they put that chicane in, and it should be single file, and somehow Da Costa pulled a mad move off on Robin Frines.
I see what you mentioned earlier on in the broadcast about this being very similar to London. Hey, Scott,
with the gap so tiny between all the drivers.
They deploy a lot. Turn 1, turn 10.
Oh, look how much.
You can't overtake.
Yeah, Gunther wants to plan to overtake.
Let's be patient.
Be patient, be patient. But Roland's really backing him up here. And I can see what you mean you said about London as well. I get the Battersea feel with the really quick flick chicanes as well at the back of the track. It's an interesting circuit. As Roland, we can see him. He's literally just not using any energy.
No. Sorry, got excited.
I thought he was doing the same. Gunther on the inside.
It looked like Gunther was going on for the move on Mortara, and we're seeing one of the Porsches go through attack mode now. That is Wehrlein. I think he's just maintained position there, Josh.
Vern's taken it to 2 minutes. Cassidy's taken 6 minutes, and that's put Vern out of position to Jaruvula. Roland really going against it now. Mortara is going to get angrier and angrier. Great use of the camera here. This is a trackside camera that they've put out there as well. It's a super slow-mo cam, but we're seeing it in live action. Through the chicane we go then.
It wasn't until I saw that camera angle that I've just realised that turn 9 is very Punta del Este.
Yes!
That very quick left-hander.
Blimey, I remember that one causing some drama.
Yeah, those were the days.
Oh, I miss Punta. Punta in a Gen 3 car would be absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it would be incredible.
When we went there for Gen 2, as we're seeing Dennis trying to go around the outside. Can't make it through there. We're through 19 and 20. And he heads down the straight again. Are we going to see Roland go defensive once more? The gap half a second now, so maybe not too much in towards that first corner. Muller's tail light is hanging off the app, says Ed in the chat. So Muller's tail light's off, and he's down in 9th position as Vern gets ahead of Druvela. Oh, hang on, what's happened to Druvela? He's just dropped 2 places there, down to 16th.
He might have run wide at turn 1. It was before the attack mode activation zone, so it will have been a mistake from Jayan. And Mortara looks a bit like a cork in a bottle here. Roland's scampering away. It was only a couple of laps ago when it looked like Roland was coming under pressure from Mortara. Now it looks like Mortara is holding up the rest of them.
No further action for causing a collision to Muller and NATO, but you're right, Mortara's now holding everybody up as well. Roland's pulled out 1.2 seconds on this lap alone to the rest of the field, and Mortara is going to get very itchy as well because Gunther's right behind him, and Dennis as well chopping a bit. You know, you've got the 2 Porsches, and we've got Verline on the attack mode as well to get through. He should be making his way through quite easily here. Cassidy's up to 17th place, back to where he was before he took the attack mode. It's a difficult circuit, this one, to get overtakes on, unless you're the 2 Porsches who are finding their way through this field nicely. Through we go into the last 2 corners and start lap 11 of this race. And Roland now 1.1 seconds ahead to Mortara, Gunther, Dennis, Verline, Da Costa, as that's the gap looking in heading towards turn 1. Oh, and instant between Da Costa and City Command noted for instant, and that's why there's a bit of debris exit turn 3.
Roland set a lap time 2 seconds quicker on that last lap compared to his lap before. He's really turned up the wicket. We've just seen the reason why. He's just gone through attack mode to take his first 2 minutes of the race.
So Roland gets ahead. He's used 2% more than Gunther, who's now gone to seconds. Mortara took 4 minutes of attack mode, so he's gone for a split strategy. Verline's got 2 minutes left on that one. Da Costa's taken 2 minutes as well and has not lost position. So Roland's got the race practically in hand here. And he's now dropped that gap to Gunther to 0.2 of a second, but he's still got 6 minutes to use later on in the race. We're only 1/3 in, lap 11 of 33.
And we're already seeing the different strategies on attack mode. Edo Mortara has gone for the 50-50 split of 4 minutes each, whereas Roland's gone for the first 2 minutes, then we'll take 6 later.
Oh, Porsche on the inside, Verline passing Dennis. That's going to be difficult. There's contact between the 2, and the 2 Porsches nearly run into each other as well. Da Costa almost running into the back of Verline. Meantime, up front, Gunther's having a go at Roland here, who was slow through the back section of the track, but that was a bit too tight. Dennis really didn't lift them up, and now Roland's in attack mode, but Pico, he's having to go defensive. Gunther's got more power. It's really bizarre, that.
Yeah, it looks like Roland's just like backing off, saving a little bit of energy, and it's backing Gunther back into Mortara. So Gunther will not have that gap to try and stay ahead of Edo.
Nothing came on that radio.
Yeah, bit of radio from Edo that won there. But yeah, it means that Gunther won't have that gap to Edo when Gunther takes his first attack in a few laps' time.
Both McLarens are into the pit lane, I presume to retire. Both McLarens could be out of the E-Prix as Bird has just...
days.
Hi, Ed. Happy days indeed. Ed, I was just going to say, you did just text us. Mortara comes out behind, comes in attack mode. Maserati going to wait for him to run out and try and jump him here. That's what we're seeing because he's on the back of Roland like crazy. What a fascinating tactical race we've got coming up here as the 2 McLarens out. And now that puts Buemi down 20th position. That's going to be contact for sure. Dennis trying to go through on Mortara. Hasn't worked out. Mortara holds 3rd. And now we're seeing Gunther trying to pass Roland. The 2 Porsches getting very itchy behind Dennis. Verline running out of attack mode as well. Da Costa's already out of it. That's how much he had left. 2 minutes only. And Verline was able to jump in with 6.
Dennis knows that Pascal Verline is right there and wants to get a shift on. However, he really wants to do that move into that turn 16, 17, 18 chicane. I don't think that's the best idea, Jake.
And he's lost the position. That's Roland taking 6 minutes of attack mode. Gunther takes the lead for the first time. 12 laps led for Roland as we see the McLarens. Oh, and that's what Hughes into the wall for. It's one of the apps. So, oh, it's Degrassi.
Degrassi.
Oh. Why am I not surprised that Degrassi's forced him into the wall? Oh, and that was one. Oh, that's when the debris is in turn 3.
I saw JM without a little bit of his front wing, but I just didn't.
Didn't register it.
Didn't register it. But yeah, Jev kamikaze moved down into T1 and lost the rear.
As just said, first time that he's kind of grateful for Degrassi. Beef between those two continues. As Da Costa and
Continue.
It's always going to be fun, isn't it, with us? Dribbler's past Tictum. And what's this flashing on our screen? Nothing, as far as I can tell. So, hang on, up the inside. Frine's making a move on centre Kamara in towards turn 1 and gets the move done nicely. At least turn 1's dried out this time to come into it. And Gunther takes attack mode. And Roland retakes the lead. And crucially, Mortara's going to go through as well and almost into the wall.
That was very, very close between Max Gunther. I think he hoped that he was just going to stay, just going to keep his wheels alongside, but there was no way to, and Mortara shut the door very well there.
I don't know why I put Roland as in Roland. I was meant to put Gunther on the second one, and I haven't done it. On the lap leaders chart that I keep in my comms box, I put Roland, and then Roland, and then Roland again. I hadn't realised that's how much my sleep-deprived brain is keeping up with that one. It was Gunther who took the lead. Apologies if I might have said Roland again, and neither was picked up on it. Roland leads this now by 0.5 of a second. He's right behind Mortara, who's having to defend like crazy from Gunther, who's now taken his first attack of the race, and it's 3 wide into the braking zone. At the inside goes Gunther. Yes! What a move! And now he's going to have an attack on Roland around the outside to 19 and 20. Gunther's on an absolute charge here. Mortara got mugged on his own manoeuvre.
We've seen Gunther make these audacious moves before, and honestly, I think he's on a mission to get to the front now, because we're just about to head into the second half of this race, and I think he wants to be the one deciding how quick the field goes.
Here he is.
He's
team radio.
Great job, mate. Eyes forward. Roland, second attack mode, 3 minutes 30 remaining.
Exactly as you said, Pico. Eyes forward, similar attack. Basically, just go for it. What I haven't told him there is that there's around about 40 seconds of attack mode difference. That could become quite crucial.
Yes. They're both in attack mode, the top two now, but 40 seconds less for Gunther, because Gunther took less on that. He took the 4 minutes, but has he only taken one so far?
Only one, yeah. Only one for Gunther, yeah. I think he's gone 4-4 coming across it. Evans up into 10th position as well. Muller down into 11th. It looks like, to me, those in attack mode are struggling with wheel spin. Quick down the straights, careful through the corners. That's from Ed in the chat. It would explain a lot, actually, wouldn't it? Great spot there, Ed, because that's why Roland lost so much time and why Mortara has been able to keep up with these two at the front. So they're struggling through the corners. Oh, Porsche switch. Da Costa's past Verline.
Da Costa in attack mode. Da Costa has been given the all clear to have a crack at Jake Dennis, I assume, to try it, because we know that the Mahindra of Edo Mortara, that is not the quickest package on the grid, unfortunately, and so I think that's a ploy. Try and get Dennis, who's got quite a big energy advantage. He's on 57% at the moment. Everyone else in the top 5 on 55%. So he's got 2% in hand to potentially break a little later, try and make a move on Edo Mortara. But Dennis hasn't taken any attack mode yet.
Here's Gunther's radio.
Yep.
I think if you're Jake
We're
Dennis,
doing a great job. 1% more energy than the car ahead and the car behind. Just watch Dennis. He's got 2% more than us, but he's got 2 attacks to do. He's saving for the end of the race.
Oh, and round the outside to Costa. Having a go on Dennis. Using that attack mode. And now we've got Roland going defensive against Gunther as we come down towards turns 17 and 18. They're really pushing it hard. Back to you on your point there, Pico.
Yeah, Da Costa will try and get Dennis, but Dennis hasn't taken any of his attack mode yet, so he will definitely drop behind the Porsches at some point when he needs to take attack mode. We're into the second part of the race, and traditionally there's a thing with attack mode where you don't want to take it past a certain amount of time, so Dennis will probably be into attack mode in the next couple laps.
Virtual Race Engineer being about as useful as a chocolate teapot, is saying that he's in a strong and engine position to attack. We've just explained exactly what's going to happen during this race. Santa Camara takes 6 minutes, but Evans takes... Oh, hang on a minute. How did that happen? NATO's got back up to 8th position. That's why the camera changed. I was wondering, how did he gain a position from taking the attack mode? That's not how it works. We're on board with Dennis through turn 9. Getting close to that wall. Surprised no one's hit it in the race. We saw it in qualifying several times. Drivers touching the wall, but they've all been pretty well behaved today. Good morning, by the way, to Joe, to Jack, Giamano, and to Adam. Go on, pick up.
Yeah, we saw it big time in qualifying with Mitch Evans hitting the wall from turn 9. Oh, down the inside! That's Da Costa on Dennis!
And
He's made it work down in turn 15.
And is that going to see...
And you got great pace, take him. We'll report.
Gunther being told just to attack, he's got great pace and calm down, but now we've got Da Costa up into 4th position, getting a great move on Dennis. Dennis now vulnerable to Verline as they come through the back up. There's some debris in the exit of turn 20 as well as they attack back, and here goes Roland going defensive. Gunther trying to go around the outside, not going to pay off, and here goes Mortara, and Da Costa's still got 30 seconds. Porsche has been let loose. Fabulous move by Da Costa, says Ed.
It's coming alive all at once. Everything's happening all at once now. A fantastic move from Da Costa. He's got just about not long left of his attack mode to try and get Ed Mortara. But we know that Porsche powertrain is a lot better than the Mahindra. So honestly, right now, Da Costa's in a very strong position to get to podium and maybe even potentially challenge Gunther and Roland.
Evans and De Vries have just dropped massively down the timing screen. So, that's why Evans got a broken front wing. He's made contact with De Vries, and out of the race goes Mitch Evans. Jaguar's hopes of regaining points have gone. De Grassi's in trouble too. So De Grassi has lost his front wing damage. Evans has got front left suspension and front wing damage, and De Vries has just dropped down to 20th place. 3 cars coming together, and I wonder if that was due to attack mode.
It's 100 and out for Mitch Evans and Jaguar.
Verline on the inside. He hits Dennis. Verline hits Dennis. They're going to make contact. But Verline's almost into the wall, and it's 3 wide and through on the inside. I don't believe it. NATO's gone through. Where did that come from? NATO takes the pair of them into turn 1. Unbelievable.
Fantastic reading from Norman Nato. He read that race perfectly. He read that move perfectly, and he's now up in 5th place.
Oh, but will he get out? Because Friends is now holding up the back to Verline, and Dennis and NATO only needs 1 place. So all of a sudden, Andretti come into it, and there's Verline with a damaged front wing. Verline got involved in that drama.
We said everything was happening all at once. It really, really is. Dennis still yet to take an attack mode. It was Norman Nato who went through the attack and just lost a place to his teammate. So that will probably switch around in the coming laps. However, heartbreak for Jaguar and Mitch Evans in their 100th race that they are out of the race. There's a little bit of debris on Pascal Airlines' nose.
Yeah. Flaps open, apparently, according to Ed. That's what he just texted us. And full course yellow could be coming out for that debris. Let's hear from Gunther as he attacks Roland.
Now this is the time where they can work together.
No cost, I want to be behind Edo again.
Yeah, copy.
So Gunther, they're saying he's struggling, but he wants to sit behind Edo. So Edo Mortara.
Attack mode, you took Dennis.
Yeah, they're still crashing the audio, although you know why now, Pico, because you and Jack Giamano had Tom Brooks on the commentary, and they're not synced up with the same pictures we're seeing, so they crash the audios.
Yeah, we saw in if you watched qualifying earlier, people would have seen when Evans did hit the wall at turn 9, as Dennis now takes set mode. Cassidy reacted about 2.5 seconds later. So the TV pictures and audio aren't really synced up just yet. But here's what happened to Mitch Evans then. Take us through it, Josh.
He goes right round the outside, gets tackled.
Oh, he had contact there with Sete Camera.
Yeah, so Evans comes around the outside, tries to break down, but he's on the dirty line and just touches the back of Frines. He goes straight on. So where does Degrassi come into it? Well, there's Degrassi. Has Degrassi had a separate incident with De Vries? That's all I can think of here. Because Degrassi and De Vries dropped down with similar issues. And they're now both in the pit lane.
Yeah, potentially. They both dropped down
Safety
at the same
car!
time on our timing screen. The safety car is out. Safety car has been deployed.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Too much debris for even a full course yellow. So, full safety car. Now remember, if we spend more than 3 minutes and 10 seconds, we go to an extra lap. I've started the stopwatch.
Okay, good. I don't have anything to time, so I'm happy that you've got a stopwatch.
Always handy in the commentary box. And you keep it running as well. So, safety car's out. Might be oh yeah, there's a lot of debris. I tell you what, New York.
Yeah, no, right on the racing line as well. So,
what do you think about New York? Similar feel? Is that sort of?
It does. It's got a Docklands fit. We just saw a sign of someone in the grandstand saying "No Sasha, no life." So, yeah, big Sasha Fenestras fan there. But yeah, it has got a very New York feel. Ronan radio.
Okay, copy.
Take a tack at next time.
Okay. But yeah, it's got a very New York feel in the fact that it's this track is based on around a sort of Docklands area. So yeah, it is quite New York.
Antonio's Felix da Costa then.
For the moment, just good turn maintenant.
You know
Pascal Wehrlein behind us.
Yeah, go on.
You know what? That is Porsche front wing on the top of Pascal Wehrlein's car. So I'm not sure if that's from him or Da Costa, and those two have come together. But yeah, that's the debris on top of Pascal Wehrlein's car.
Oh, and that's a McLaren without a front wing. Was that Hughes when he came back?
Yes, that will be Hughes. So he did not pit after he crashed with Nico Muller, and this is a saving grace for him. He gets to catch up to the back of the field now. He will have conserved a lot of energy because there would have been no point in just going around to catch up to the car. But yeah,
Interesting. NR. Now I'm seeing on with Degrassi and De Vries. That's not running, but they haven't officially DNF'd from the race. Usually it would say, DNF, not NR, on the Alkali Systems timing screens. Oh, it's the same on both timing screens. Okay. Interesting. And they're now slowing practically to a halt. That's one thing you can do with electric cars under a safety car to really save energy. So, safety car's out. Let's do a quick run through the order. Roland is leading from... Oh, hello. They've apparently stopped on the circuit. What's going on here?
our timing screen has just gone a little bit haywire.
Yeah.
The top 12, sorry, have all retired from the race. Now
Yeah.
13, no. Okay, so top 3 are now back in the race. Our timing screen's going a little bit haywire here, so
They're not showing us what's happening
yeah.
on the track as well. Have they stopped them somewhere to get some debris out of the way?
potentially that might have been why they all backed up on the
There you
back
go.
straight as well.
I got some going to wide further back. Yeah, so they must be collecting debris, and the marshals are just negating them through. But they've got going again. And is there two safety cars? Is there two safety
No,
cars?
I just think the safety car is a while ahead. Oh no, I can just see a little bit of tyre poking out behind the safety
there
car.
we go.
Just thinking, I was thinking it was a while ahead of Ollie Rowland.
Yeah.
We know that they like to take it very, very slow under safety car. If you hark back all the way back to race 1, season 1 in Beijing, when they did a formation and it took 12 minutes because they didn't want to use any power. That's why they immediately got rid of the formation lap.
That was
there was no point to it.
On the race as we sit here running the ball at Cassidy, team
The
radio.
lead cars are not really getting away. And you're up on energy compared to the cars in front. Robin, who's just a few cars ahead, he is 2% down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that first race, 12 minutes. I was commentating on that, and I ran out of things to say on about 3 minutes in.
Brilliant. It's worth noting, Nick Cassidy's made his way back up to 12, so points definitely on the cards here. And I haven't got a stopwatch. I know that you have. But I'm assuming that we are past at least one.
Yeah.
So we got at least one added lap so far.
Here's Radzi down in the pits.
Structure of the car, and he's been straight back out. But what for me is the really telling part is the body language of Jaguar. This is a race, as you mentioned, the 100 years, the centenary for Mitch Evans, the centenary for Jaguar TCS. We thought it'd be buoyant, we thought it'd be vibrant, but instead, unfortunately, it hasn't turned out the way they'd like as of yet. So it's back out there for Mitch Evans, and it's a case of damage limitations from here.
Say again, Ed?
100 years for Evans.
Yeah, he's looking fantastic for 100.
Can I have his skincare routine?
I want that as well. Safety car's coming in at the end of this lap then. So we will be going back to green shortly.
We've got 5:32 under safety car. If it's 6:19 or longer, it's 2 added laps. So we might have 2 added laps.
I think we will get to 2. They're only coming through turn 9 now. They've still got a while to go round.
Yeah, the way it works, by the way, is that it's a continuing rolling safety car clock. So when this officially goes green, I can stop the stopwatch, but I can't reset it because if a virtual safety car or a full safety car comes out again, you restart that stopwatch clock. So it's as it runs, how much time we spent under caution. Anything longer than 18:59, you get the full 7 laps per the regulations, which I read this year because it confused the hell out of me last year. Who's going to take this one?
I don't think I've ever read the regulations since I've been in the paddock. Dennis Radio.
Team radio.
Nothing there.
Yeah, we've got to do strat 13 like discreetly though, because if we do it, then Mortara will just take it as well at the same time. He needs to do it at the last minute. And then as I'm taking it, he can pull up alongside me. Just let me go.
And then just let me go. Okay. There's the green
We're going
flag.
back to green.
So the race is officially under safety car, 6 minutes and 49 seconds, which means we will have 2 laps. There's no overtaking until the green flag line. Roland leads, Gunther, Mortara, DaCosta, Dennis coming across, and there's no overtaking, so he can bunch it now, coming out of turn 20.
Oh, perfect.
That was beautiful.
Perfect restart from Roland.
We are racing once more in Tokyo. Down to turn 1, and no one has got the gap to do an overtake. That was, as you say, perfect from Roland. He's caught Gunther napping a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter much. I think Gunther's closed right back up to it. Maybe gone a little bit deeper to make sure that
Here we go.
He goes. This Dennis through attack mode retains the position ahead of Norman Nato. I think Nato might have just helped his teammate a little bit, even though he's a fair way ahead of Robin Frines. I think he just made sure that Dennis came out in front.
And now Roland's got 7/10 to Gunther. I'm trying to remember how much the attack mode they've got left to use. It's not telling me on my timing screen at the moment. So we need a better one than the Alkali Sisters. But look at Gunther. Never mind that. I'll interrupt myself because he's already got back in to 0.4 of a second to Roland. Oh, and Evans passes Tictum further back for 17th place. Poor Evans. And poor Jaguar, to be fair, they've been having a horrible day. Cassidy's up to 12th, but Evans now back in the race, as we see around the outside. Dennis with attack mode, trying to have a go at DaCosta. And not well, maybe he will.
He likes this move.
Can he do it? On the inside line, DaCosta goes defensive. Dennis now becomes vulnerable to Nato, but Nato's not going to pass him. But wow, is that brave or what from Dennis? And DaCosta was going to go, right, okay, you try and use my own tricks against me, I'll put you in the wall, and I don't care if we both don't get out of it. That's DaCosta's motto this season. Oh, and he's trying
DaCosta did a similar move on Norman Nato earlier in the race. Dennis trying to avenge his teammate going into the chicane. Dennis is loving that move into T16, but it's a very hard one to pull off.
Oh, there's Frines.
Attack.
That's his last 2 minutes. Oh, will he get out ahead? Yes, he does. Rejoins ahead of Sergio Santa Camara. Only loses a position to Verline, who's still got 2 minutes to go. Gunther Mortara with 4 minutes. Nato Verline with 2. Same to Sergio Santa Camara. Didn't see the rest of that order at the bottom there. But on board with Edo, with Da Costa right behind, and through turn 9, super high grippy section of the track there with the special red tarmac as well, as he's going to go to the inside. Da Costa, think about it, Dennis right there as well. It's all right back how we started it. This is good.
Yeah, but no, this is fantastic stuff. Honestly, we wanted Tokyo to be a good one because there's been so much pressure on this one. It's done well so far, hasn't it?
Worth getting up for, worth the disrupted one night, as Verline's still got that wing damage, and as he's under a right attack to try and pass NATO as they come back through. Safety car helped Roland, in his opinion, Ed Hunter says as well. I think you're right, because his energy saved a hell of a lot, and we'll have 2 added laps, but we spent, I think, 3-4 on the safety car, so not that bad at all. In towards turn 1 we go, and already, is that the 2 ERTs running together? No, that's Santa Camara and Muller, 2 very similar liveries for ERT and the Apt, coming together at the back. If I was Roland, I'd be a bit worried that we've got Gunther and Mortar still with attack mode.
Yeah, Gunther still needs to. Both of them still need to go through the attack mode. Gunther radio.
Remaining Gunther as
Roland is
well.
weak. He's lifting very early.
Lifting very early into the chicanes. Gunther's right in the back of him. He's going to go for it on the inside. Look at this. Gunther's got a great run out of turn 9. He pulls to the outside line, and he passed Roland like he was standing still. That was Roland really doing energy saving there. Gunther takes the lead.
Well, yeah, Roland's led 99.9% of the race, basically. And so being out front, he's punched that hole in the air. I think Roland just wants to sit back now and regain a little bit of energy. Like Ed said, safety car helped him a lot. But now he gets to sit behind, watch Gunther, and watch how he's racing and where's best to regain that lead later on in the race.
Yep. Roland led 12 laps, then Gunther led 1, then Roland led another 11 laps, and now he's going to have to do it all again as he comes across, because that's lap 25 officially led for Gunther, as now he's got more time coming through.
Yeah, I think Gunther's going to go for attack mode. If not this lap, then the next. We're going to look at a replay now of this overtake. Absolutely fantastic. Just followed him through, and Roland was lifting so early, so Gunther went right. Thank you very much. Round the outside, you got him before he even started braking.
Complete mugged. That's what I like about that one. It was a good classic Formula E move. As I think I saw Druvela before we cut away to that replay with front left wing damage. I want to see if he's got it. Yeah.
Yes, that's from the Vern incident earlier on in the race.
Right. Now I've said it again. I remember you saying that you saw it and picked up. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's still early in the morning. I'm going back to bed after this one. Gunther is going to try and build a gap to Roland so he can use attack mode. Yeah. I've only had 2 hours.
Yeah, no, I accidentally slept through qualifying, so I should be all right. But yeah, they're like, it looks like that damage on the nose cone has just got worse. It's probably just repositioned, but it can't be great for visibility. Obviously, the halo is there. The halo means you've got the thing, but you sort of look through it a little bit you put your hand up to your face and then just try and watch the screen through that. That's what the halo's like. With that damage, it's going to be even worse. It's going to
Let's open the gap this lap.
Let's open the gap this lap. So go for Gunther. I suppose.
So
I know what you mean. Yeah.
This will be his lap to take attack mode.
I know what you mean about the front nose for Verline there, because it's like if you've got something at the end of your nose that you can see. It's like it's just in your vision at the bottom, because no human can see their nose unless they close one eye. So if you can see something at the end of your nose, you know what's going on. A weird trick for you there. But
Yeah, no, I just did it myself. I just closed one eye at a time just to see my nose. Yeah.
I presume everybody watching did exactly the same thing when I said it as well. We were all just winking at the cameras.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exactly the point, and it's in your professional vision as well. So that's gonna be driving Verline nuts. Oh, hello.
Yeah, it won't be ideal, but yeah, he's doing all right at the moment in 7th. Where is he in the train? I think he's just dropped back a little bit. He's still got to take attack mode along with Nato. Mortara and Gunter still need to take attack mode. However, Gunter has just gone through attack. Will he regain the lead? I think he will. Yeah, Gunter's gone through attack. He's taken his final attack, and he is net in the lead now.
That's really going to hurt Roland. Really going to hurt him. Needed to get ahead there, as I don't really think that was the right time to cut to the Maserati garage with the female employee adjusting her top. That seemed to have failed there. Don't really think that was the right time to cut to the garage. Luckily, I think the timing tower. Anyway, yeah, back to the action. Gunther race pace. Oh, hello, debris flying up in between the cars. End plate.
Was that debris that was just there to start with, and it's only just been hit?
Yeah,
was that something that came off one of the front runners?
It had to be Gunther because he hit it first. So if it's Gunther who's lost it, I think it could be from Evans. That's the only thing I can think of who's had that. But everyone, it looks like they've got their winglets. Yeah, all look good.
To be fair, I didn't want to say it was a Jaguar because I thought it looked weird, but I thought I did see 100 written on the side on the debris. So
I thought I saw TCS. Yeah.
You might be on the money that it's a Jaguar there.
So lap 29 of 33. And Fryant has passed Muller and Seta Kamara has passed Cassidy. So are they swapped over for any attacks? No, just that little battle there that we were watching going through. So, okay, I was just saying something in the back of my ear there. I think that was from Andre Lotta, the bridesmaid of Formula E. Mortara in P3. As they come into it once again. Now, Roland's got 7/10 of a second to come through. So he's keeping up there. I think Ed was right early on in the race when he said everybody who's having problems with attack mode, they can't get the traction down as more winglets deposited around the circuit. So that's why Gunther's now slower than when he wasn't in attack mode.
Yeah. Well, we're now getting into this point in the last stages of the race where it becomes a bit more of a flat out affair. So I think Gunther will start thinking, if he hasn't thought about it already, about dropping the hammer and going for it. I think at the same point we need to acknowledge Eduardo Mortara, who's doing a sterling job in third at the moment. It looks like Da Costa's getting closer and closer and closer, but he's doing a fantastic job.
Exactly. That's his only chance.
3 more laps to take attack. The risk is getting higher.
And we're seeing Verline under attack from Fryans, but Seta Kamara past Muller. And I think just coming into the commentary box to make it 4 commentators on the world feed is Andre Lotta, 100%, as we take now attack mode 1 and 2. Mortara and Nato go through and side by side into the wall. Nato having a bit, was that Mortara and Dennis actually having a bit of a ding-dong together? It was.
Yeah, it was Mortara and Dennis. Mortara took his last attack mode, which it's only 2 minutes. It's only 4 minutes worth, but that drops him down to 5th. He did a fantastic job on the podium, but yeah.
Roland's right at the back here. He gained so much time through turn 9. Is he saving more energy? What's the percentage? 50. Oh, actually, they're pretty much level. So Gunther's got 30 seconds. So Roland's timed this one to perfection now. But they've got added laps. Is this a peloton race? It feels like a peloton race, but how it should be done. Whereas people do actually want to lead.
Well, yeah, I think Sao Paulo was actually great. I hated the things like Portland last year. I thought that was a bit too over the top. But races like this, like Sao Paulo, I'm all for. They are quite fun as we're into the added laps now.
2 added laps, as I was thankfully correctly predicted. First time that happened, we had Mark Priest in the commentary box with us as well, and I was like, well, it should be 3 added laps, but it's only 2, so what happened there? On the timings as well. And of course, Mark's coming back to Formula E with Lola for season 11. So you know what we're going to try and do for the end of the year? Yeah, get him into the commentary box once more before he returns as team principal. I know you tried to have an interview with him, but Lola sort of shut that down because, well, now we all, as soon as they said no, we all kind of knew, okay, Lola coming back.
We all knew something was up when Mark had to cancel and Ed come put us over at Formula E Zone. So we are aiming to get Mark back on soon, and
Da Costa.
We'll do things slowly.
Da Costa running in third place, as Ed points out. He's been in the background of the race. We'll hear from him in the post as they still get a bit side by side. So we've got, I reckon it's 4 at the moment. It's going to become about 7 or 8 cars in a charge for racing here. It's 35 laps now, the race distance, and they're all now going to have to save energy like crazy because they were running out. They're on 50 with 3 to go. It's a 5% average lap time duration. So yeah, do the math. They're not going to have enough, as we're seeing Boemi trying to go around the outside of Stoffel Van Dorn. Hasn't worked out there for 14th position. Right to the back has now dropped Jerusalem as Verline has up to 6th past NATO. As we see NATO take 2 minutes. Oh, contact! Big off! And there goes Friends' front wing. Well, that was NATO and Friends coming together. That was sort of written in the stars, wasn't it? Friends can continue, but Pico, it's just getting mad out there. They're all concentrating up together.
It's typical last few laps of Formula E. It's every man for himself, and Friends has come out on that in that one worst, losing his front wing there, and he's rejoined in 10th, so he's holding on to a point, but he's just in front of Sergio Sotocamera in the ERT. In the ERT, he's just taken his attack mode.
Not stupid to say. I think Da Costa could win this one. He's looking the most racing to me.
I did say earlier, look out for Da Costa.
You did. You've got it right on the money there. I picked Roland to win this one. I didn't expect this. Da Costa's come out of nowhere from that Porsche. Here's Friends on a replay then, Pico, and he's just going to get forced out by NATO. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that was neither of them gave enough room there.
Yeah. The F word and no space. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies for anyone who don't know that language. It is his second language.
It's under investigation as well.
Yeah, not surprising, really. But yeah, it's now whether Friends can hold on without a front wing. He should be able to, because these cars aren't too reliant on downforce. Mitch Evans has just taken his attack mode. That's extremely late on for his last 2 minutes. I believe that he's the last in the field, though. So yeah, everyone should have now taken attack mode.
Trading places again and again and again, as now we're seeing Da Costa on the back of Roland. So Da Costa's got one more usable percentage of energy, and on the last lap, that could... Oh, he's got 2. I stand corrected. He's regenerating to 9. On the top 2 on 7, and he's going for it right round the outside. And Da Costa into second position. Roland pushes it towards the wall, and through goes Dennis. Wow! What
a fantastic section of corner that looked like Da Costa was up to second. It's now down to 4th, and it's Dennis on the podium. Cassidy's also looking very, very good on energy. He was he was in double digits compared to everyone in single digits just then. However, at this point in the race, it does get harder to try and make these overtakes. They're all flat out basically at this point.
Dennis the Menace wants to get back up there. He fancies a race victory, but Roland is going to be battling with Gunther. Da Costa has got to do it all over again, and he might just have a go here. Coming through 3. Here's the replay. Da Costa really got a great slipstream and just surprised Roland.
Yeah, round the outside into turn 15. I don't think
this is not legal what he did.
Oh.
Yeah, Da Costa is not happy with it. I think it's probably on the edge of what is okay. It's unfortunate for Antonio that he loses that position off the podium, but yeah, what Roland did, he held his line. He was ahead going into the corner, just about. So yeah, I personally I don't have an issue with that, and I think Roland should get away with it.
Verline trying left, trying right to get ahead of Mortara for 5th position. hasn't worked out. Gunther and Roland still battling it out to and fro. We'll be on 1 lap to go here in Tokyo. It has been absolutely fantastic. Truly what we wanted to see. It's just like a Gran Turismo race on the Tokyo city streets. This has delivered an excellent E-Prix as we start the final lap. Are we going to see anything from Roland to turn 1? He's going to try and go around the outside. Gunther goes defensive, and this is all getting a bit chaotic now in the last few metres, and that's put Gunther on in defence. Roland's going to go to the inside line. Gunther shuts the door. This is unbelievable stuff. Nato's been given a time penalty for causing a collision.
Yeah, unsurprising that Norman Nato has been given a penalty for that. Yeah, but that 5 seconds will drop him currently from 7th all the way down to 15th place. So he's not going to be scoring any points today. But it's all about who's going to win. Gunther still has it, but Roland is there. As we come into the place where Gunther mugged him earlier, is Roland going to return the favour, Josh?
He's going to go around the outside, but watch out for Dennis. He's got more Guzman engine than everyone inside the top 4. As the top 2 hit 1%, they're going to try and regen like crazy. Dennis now approaches a flat-out section. Mortara's within 2, 0.4, 0.3, round the outside. Roland's going for it. He's gone defensive. Gunther takes the lead still. Dennis can't do anything. It's down to the last sector. Gunther goes defensive. It's happening again.
0.1!
Oh my word!
0.1!
Is he going to make it? Is Dennis going to get through? Gunther might win the race. And Mortara nearly in the wall, coming out of the last corner. Punch it to the line. I don't think they've got anything left. It's too little, too late. Gunther wins a Texas Tornado in Tokyo. Brilliant race. That was unbelievable. Gunther wins for the first time in Tokyo. Roland hit 0.0 at the line. He should be okay. Dennis couldn't do anything in 3rd to Costa 4th. From the closest finish to the most confusing end. Gunther wins, and that really was a tornado we saw here. Fantastic.
What a race. Max Gunther played that to perfection. Fantastic from Maserati. He's really gelled in this team. Here's his team radio.
Maximilian Gunther, a race winner in Formula E for the 2024 season.
In qualifying, well, we've got it right in the race.
Such a tight race in terms of management till the end. Yeah, I'm really proud of what we've achieved this weekend. Really good pace. And yeah, deserved win for the whole team. I'm just really happy.
Well, after Sao Paulo, this is a great way to bounce back.
It was amazing.
Congratulations.
Great execution in the race, and yeah, I think the season has just started for us.
Well,
amazing job.
That radio worked very well, didn't it, everyone?
Yeah, no, the Maserati team, ecstatic. Lizzie Brooks, the Director of Communications, delighted as well. The penalty for Nato dropped him from 7th down to 16th, which means that ERT get a very crucial point for Sergio Setacamera in P10.
First points of the season, which is brilliant for them after a second points of the season. Thank you.
No, they got Dirty Friday.
Yeah.
They got 2.
Forgot about Dirty Friday.
First points for Apt Cooper though. Nico Muller, 7th place, fantastic for them. Then I got Mortara on the line, but still great points for Mahindra as well. Does that mean all the teams scored?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
someone didn't.
For us.
McLaren.
We see you on the podium, mate.
McLaren and Penske didn't score.
Well, no, but over the course of the season, I think we've now got all 11 teams on the board.
Yeah, all 11 teams have now scored points. So that finally kicks off, Mahindra and Apt off the board, so off the 0, yeah. Ed Hunter's turned his mic on.
Yeah. And that's been very important for the Manufacturers' Championship as well, that Mahindra got a 6-7 today, basically.
Apt using their powertrain. Ed Hunter's switched his mic on, as I said, so he can hear us as well, and we can hear him. Ed, what did you make of that?
That's headphones, Josh, not microphone.
Well.
Enjoyed that. Roland showing his driver of the race, which is odd because I didn't vote for him, but I didn't vote for anyone. But well deserved by Gunther. It sort of felt like Jakarta last year, where Gunther was really just on it the whole way through. And I think Roland tried to come back at him at the end, but Maserati judged that to perfection. Never seen so many teeth as I did during the slow-mos of them celebrating there.
I must say, we've had a fan in the chat who was saying, come on, Sergio City Camara, did he get points? P10, yes, he did get points. City Camara in P10 gets points. SHT says, unlucky for Roland, he came so close, but he had to wait to another race. Muller P7 and points for Cooper as well. Very interesting top 3 as well. So overseas right now, but I did watch qualifying earlier. A number of big upsets into Tokyo, says SHT. It was an interesting race set up. Can't wait to see where we're going. Don't know where Dario Franchitti's gone, by the way. He's disappeared from the broadcast.
He's probably gone down to interview the top 3.
Oh yes, no one's there, are there?
There's no Nicky this weekend. Bit too far to fly out for.
Yeah, and no Saunders either.
Yeah.
And that's why Alexa had to do the FP2 role, and she's getting ready to do the podium, followed by the the Formula E debrief with Katie Fairman. So yeah, Dario's gone to the interviews. Yeah. It's logical.
Yeah, no, would make sense. Yeah, that was a good one. 3rd consecutive podium for Oliver Rowland.
Oh wow!
Who had that? Who had that on their cards at the start of the season? I didn't.
I'd written Nissan off after the past couple of years. I didn't think they would be this competitive.
No. We've got to a point here, I think, where we sort of have to go, Oliver Rowland is kind of in the hunt for the championships. At this moment in time, he's got to be top 5 in the championship at least.
That's why I wish we had I want them to bring up the time, the Drivers' Championship as well, because they never do. It's always annoying. We're always waiting, saying, like, oh, what's going on now then? So, as soon as we hear the interviews, we'll hand back down to the world feeds. I'm trying to have a look, because I can see some television people just at the side there. Is it Dario? Oh, no, is that JJ, actually? That's JJ. God, don't let him do the interviews.
Sorry. Absolutely awful at the moment, as you can tell.
You know, when I was footballer, I'd always be like this. Yeah, no, here's the full results then, Josh.
Max Gunther wins a classic here in Tokyo. It's a British 2-3 with Roland and Dennis rounding out the podium as well. Antonio Felix da Costa, lead time Pascal Verline 4-5. Eduardo Mortara is 6th, Nico Muller 7th, Nick Cassidy fighting back from 19th to 8th. Oh, who thought that would happen? And then Friends and Sete Kamara round out the points. Sasha Fenestraz leads a French 11-12 with Verne. Then it's Bohemian 13th. Hughes dropped down to 14th. And then we get Evans, Nato, Van Dorn, Drewell, and Ticktum down to 19th. Bird, Degrassi, and De Vries out of it as well. As we get ready for the top 3. This is Gunther, and the moment he crossed the line... No, it's not. It's him beating his chest. And getting out of the car. Poor penalty there for Nato, actually, with that. So, as you say, he has dropped down to 16th and out of those points. Right, here's our winner, Max Gunther with Radzi.
Maximilian Gunther, your 5th career win, your 2nd with Maserati, and the first ever in Tokyo for Formula E. How are you feeling?
Amazing. Yeah, just an incredible weekend. I think we performed so well. We were in the top 3 in every session. Almost got the pole earlier on, and now this race win, it feels so special. Yeah, just amazing job by everybody. I feel great in the car. We made some really good steps in the last few weeks. I think since Sao Paulo, everybody could see that we have a really strong pace, and yeah, today we could convert it into a win. It's amazing. I'm very proud for this, and now we enjoy the moment.
In terms of the championship, obviously it's very, very close to get such big points for the team, for yourself. It was a real team effort. You got the sense with the strategy management, with everything that took place on the track, and the track that you didn't know.
Yeah, it was a lot of energy management today. We were very tight. I think the Porsche behinds, they were pushing like hell, and they had strong pace. But yeah, we did everything we had to do. I think we covered ourselves well. It was super, super tight on the last lap even, and yeah, I think just perfectly executed the strategy, the moves, everything. So yeah, good one today.
The inaugural Tokyo EP winner, Max Gunther, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Don't know if we're going to hear from P2 and P3, but let's hand over to the world feed.
Maximilian Gunther taking his first victory of 2024, 2nd with Maserati, their first trip to the top step of the podium since Jakarta last year. An absolute delight for the team in blue. And that's what it means for them. Let's head down to Oliver Rowland, a third consecutive podium. He's with Radzi.
Ollie, we know how good you are. We know you'd love to have won, but back-to-back 3 consecutive wins in Formula E. How was that for yourself?
I mean, it's good. If
Didn't
someone
win,
offered me
though.
pole and second, of course, I'd have snapped their hand off. But yeah, I led the whole race. But it was just tricky after the second safety car. It dropped the target so much that then I just couldn't hang on anymore. And I knew I had to relinquish. And then, yeah, when I was behind, the car was mega. It's just a little bit of strategy of Formula E and not quite been in the right place at the right time, let's say.
It's one thing being on the podium in any race, but to do it for Nissan in Tokyo, the flags, the crowd, the support, the energy, it's been a special weekend for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think we could have asked for much more. All the big bosses, I think, will be pretty happy with what they've seen. So, yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the win, but I have to be grateful. I mean, I've got a fantastic car, 3 podiums in a row. If you'd offered me that at the start of the season, I'd have definitely took it.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Sorry, but did he say second safety car there? There was only... Just correct me, there was only 1 safety car.
There was only 1 safety car as far as I'm aware.
How was...
Yeah.
Mortara under
yeah.
investigation energy.
I
Something you
was
could pick up, yeah.
I was about to say this, yes. Mortara's under investigation for energy overuse. That's usually a slam dunk.
Where did he finish?
No, he's been disqualified. He's been disqualified.
Yes, he has. That gives Fenestraz a point.
I'm gutted for Mahindra.
Oh, there we go. They've gone off to an ad break anyway.
Yeah, I'm so gutted for Mahindra. They deserve those points today. I always have a little
because he went over, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's why he's been disqualified. So he didn't, by definition, he didn't deserve those points, Jack.
Yeah, I know, but like the race that he did.
And he also was a massive roadblock in that race for everyone.
Yeah, I
behind
know,
him.
but it means that he drove the race well, which he did. And so yeah, no, I'm gutted for Mahindra because yeah, they are. Yeah, they're always the plucky underdogs, and yeah, it's that is gutting for Eduardo and Mahindra.
So they're the only team with no points on the board at all, and he finished, of course, in 6th place. So
yeah,
that's even worse going forward. But great news for Sasha Fenestraz, who does make it a double points finish for Nissan on home soil, and more points for ERT as well, with as we said, Seta Kamara getting in 9th now. So there you go. If you're listening in, Seta Kamara to 9th. Our fan YT on the chat, you can be happier. Well worth getting up in the morning.
No Sasha, no life.
Oh, well. So it's changed the results then. So the new top 10 sees it's still Gunther, Roland, Dennis, Da Costa, Verline, but now it puts Muller in 6th, Cassidy 7th, Friens 8th, Seta Kamara 9th, Fenestraz 10th, Verne 11th, Buemi 12th, Hughes 13th. Great fight back from Hughes. That safety car, as you said, Pico, really did help him because he was last and now he's fought back up to 13th place. Proves that car can race.
Yeah, no, fantastic drive from us. Yeah, no, brilliant. Brilliant to make his way through the field. I still don't think that he was the pick for the win. Like a lot of people thought he was from 19th place, but you know, yeah.
Don't know who was picking that.
Very, very good recovery, nonetheless.
Whoever picked that needs to be examined by the psych ward. Evans 14th, 15th for NATO, Vandoorne 16th, Drivler 17th, Tictum 18th, and officially out of the race now, Bird, Degrassi, De Vries, but disqualified for Mortar, who has now dropped, as we found out, to 22nd position. Doesn't show it on your screen, but on ours it shows DQ, which is disqualified from the Alchemy systems that we have up here in the comms box. So yeah, changed up now across it. But fastest lap actually went to Dan Tictum, a 1:19.731. Now that means nobody gets the bonus point. Nope, I'm going to stand corrected on that one. Fastest lap went to Sam Bird, 1:19.731. And because he's out of the race and outside the top 10, nobody gets the bonus point for that one.
No, it'll be reallocated to whoever got fast up in the top 10.
So who did it? 1:22.5, 1:22.4, well, that's going to go to Cassidy then. 1:21.902. Oh, no. Gunther. 121.699. Gunther gets 26 points from this event, not 25. Okay.
Yep.
And Roland still got 3 for pole position. So that's okay. What a good race that was. In fact, that puts them 23 to 26. There's only a 3-point gap between the first and second. That's not bad at all in that one. Okay, we'll take a few minutes while they get ready for the podium, and we'll hand back over to the world feed. Hopefully Tom Brooks is still in commentary. If not, we apologise for having JJ.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Give us a fingers crossed if it is, as we'll hand back over to the world feed.
Maximilian Günther takes his 5th career win in Formula E, his 2nd for Maserati. Crucially, his and the team's first win since Jakarta last year as well. That is exactly what it means. Timed that one to perfection. Roland let him go, gave him the race lead, and we thought that might be a blinder of a strategy. Turned out to be to his detriment, and ultimately is what cost him the race win.
Yeah, you could almost hear relief in Roland's voice that, you know, I let you pass the 10 laps to go because I would not make the end of the race without, you know, using the amount of energy I was out front. So it just seems that was his only option.
Yeah, sounds like strategy is being key. Listening.
I did, trust me, yeah, I did. Yeah, right here, I spun out. I did like a right here.
Oh, the mics don't work on the ride along.
Did you see how far on the inside I got of you there on the last lap?
No.
I wanted to surprise you of what I'm going to have a go. Because you went so slow.
I wanted to have a go and you did.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
You had to go on Edo here, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. That's, I think, when I took my first attack mode because you slowed each other down.
Yeah.
You're not trusting?
No, but I tried to avoid full trust.
Okay. And they've lost it.
Sounds about right.
We had.
Here's the points then. Ooh, Pico. Cassidy and Verline level on points at 63.
Ooh.
And it's only a
Is
point.
this before or after the Mortara disqualification there?
After.
This will be after, I think.
So Roland and Dennis on 54 and 53. Gunther 48. Evans 39. Level with Vern. Bird still 37. Frines 23 and Bohemian on 20. That's a very close championship. I like that a lot. Top 8 especially. And, okay, further down, 20 for Acosta. That links him further up. Hughes 18, same as Van Dorn. Fenestraz has a NATO on 9. Yeah, Mortara's been qualified. So, no points for Mortara, Degrassi, De Vries, Deruva or Tinctum. Not what I'm expecting from 2 previous champions of the series. To have no points. Okay, let's go.
Well, they've got Mahindra powertrains. So.
I think we've got, I don't know if it's AJ or Georgie. Let's go down to them. It's Georgie.
Costa finishes 4th today. An aggressive move towards the end. Can you walk us through it, and would you do anything differently?
Look, I'm not one to just sit and look, and I thought I had the pace advantage and the energy advantage, and I tried to move on the outside. I know it's always risky, but he didn't leave me enough room, and I had to brake, otherwise I would have hit the wall, and then I lost out to Jake and lost out the podium. So disappointed, but yeah, I have to assume that some people are cleaner than others, and I know Ollie is a super aggressive driver, but aggressive is fine, but over the limit is another one. If I don't brake, I crash out of the race there. So a little bit disappointed with that. I hope they look into it, because if we open a precedent for this, then yeah, it is what it is.
Thank you. Antonio Field.
Okay,
you can see there from Antonio Fields Costa. Fairly pragmatic, but obviously not very happy with some of the conduct out there.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't happy with that incident down at turn 15 where he sort of got squeezed towards the barrier. I mean, it was definitely tight, it was hard racing, but, you know, questionable whether there was a car's width or not. I think that would probably go down as a racing incident in my eyes, but obviously not happy with that because that cost him a podium in the end. Jake Dennis getting past.
Yeah, certainly did. Well then, we're ready for the podium celebrations to begin before too long here in Tokyo. Actually, an indoor podium as well. I think they were just a bit worried about the rain that we had yesterday morning, to be completely honest with you. But nonetheless, a really exciting first race in Tokyo. Tell you, the man who was on the move, 19th on the grid, is where Nick Cassidy started. Eventually classified in 7th place into the points. Really impressive result.
But finished on the road in 9th.
The dream ticket to the top that they were hoping about, but nonetheless, I think he'll be pretty happy with that, and we'll be catching up with him in a couple of moments as well.
Yeah, no, he'll be very happy with that, and that crucially holds on to the championship lead, which is something that it's suffered in the last couple of races. He has lost ground, he has lost that lead that he built, but he still keeps him well in contention, and we have got a lot of races still to come.
Absolutely. Let's head down to Georgia then, who is with the man who now ties at the top in the championship standings. Nick Cassidy. In fact, I beg your pardon, we will hopefully get that a little bit later on because we're going to the podium celebrations. First of all, here in Tokyo.
Yep.
Love all the Nissan fans celebrating like they won the race, by the way.
Yeah, notice that too. Who's going to tell him? One thing I'm worried about is the fact that Alexa's doing the podium ceremony as always. But that is a very loud speaker reverb around there, and the way that she has to shout normally, I hope she's adjusted it, otherwise she's going to deafen about 1,000, 2,000 people. Maybe a lot, actually. Now I'm getting Berlin vibes.
I've just been doing some looking up, so some stats for you. Oliver Rowland has now scored more points than he has in his entire Mahindra career this season.
Alone. Wow.
Yeah. He is now scored. He's on 53 points, isn't it now?
Yeah.
54 points. 54 points. He scored 41 over his year and a half with Mahindra.
Ouch.
So, yeah.
Georgia is now with Nick Cassidy, our joint leader of the championship.
Well, it's definitely not where he wanted to start, but Nick Cassidy goes 19th to 7 on a track that seems like it was pretty hard to overtake on. So walk us through your journey through the field.
Yeah, tough race, to be honest. I think we were quite quick. The progress, I guess, shows that. Started the race
Test, yeah.
But there's always action going to come, and it was coming all the time. So difficult, trying to stay clean. Sao Paulo lost the front wing. That was the target today. Clean race, and we managed to do that.
Thank you. Nick Cassidy, making the most of the situation.
Yeah, and my handheld mic just flew off the desk and landed on the floor, so I'm just making sure it's okay. Here's the podium, and here's the podium ceremony now. It flew off the desk. I've never known that before, ever. It literally just flew off the desk when I sat down. It's not even connected to anything, it just flew off. What was you have?
It's too early in the morning.
Yeah.
Microphone. Done with you now, Jeff.
Yeah, it's gone. I guess I won't be using that handheld later. I'll stick with my headset. At least that can't fly off. Unless Megan's in the commentary box. She once literally walked off in Abu Dhabi one year. She walked off with her headphones still on, and she brought the entire commentary box system with her and broke everything. We had to repair everything for 2017.
Classic Megan.
Yes. I paid her. She had to pay the bill. 2 new headsets, a new voice recorder. Cost about 70 quid back in the day. Right.
Alright, that's tough on a student life.
It was in 2017 as well. Nowadays it's fine. Nowadays that I've literally tied her headphones around the pole of the commentary box table so she can't leave with it. Well,
this is the team principal of
Yeah.
Maserati. They have a team principal now.
The owner, isn't he? Isn't he the owner?
It was announced as
Asnar.
principal, so
He was Gag's nephew or whatever. The guy's related to him. Is like his wife or something.
well, he was introduced as team principal. So, as far as I'm concerned, they finally have a team principal.
Yeah, look at him hugging with a Gag. He's definitely his brother-in-law, I think.
yeah, not exactly hiding anything there, are they, as well?
Okay, at least it's not the Espeleta dynasty in MotoGP.
Well, Liberty will be taking that over soon, so we'll be fine. Crucial thing is, I often said as well, that'll never happen because of the EU bylaws that you can't own a monopoly on racing series. Because MotoGP and Formula 1 are going in different routes, it doesn't clash with monopoly. So Liberty can own both if they want to.
Interesting.
Yeah. It won't happen though. Dorna won't relinquish their biggest earner as much as people want them to. They won't. And if Liberty got hold of it, blimey. Jay Dennis finishes in 3rd place for Andretti. Good start to the season, actually. It's been very up and down, but this is definitely round 5 and an up for them. Round 5 only as well. It's mad. Double-header next at Mazzano, and everybody can go, oh, so this is what the attack charge does.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We've done a whole lot of testing, sadly.
Yeah, that's true. Are you trackside for that, Pico? Are you going Mazzano?
I'm not. No, I'm not doing as many. I'm not doing that many races this year. All because of money.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to be a bit more sensible as well. But until I got paid the other day, I had 12 quid in my bank account. So I
feel your pain, my friend.
Yeah.
Responsibility sucks.
Oh yeah, no, I hate it.
If only Formula E looked after its journalists that were there from the beginning. Yourself, Giovanna, me and Ed.
I wasn't there from the beginning. It was Jack who's there from the beginning, and then I joined 2018.
We're both following Formula E.
2019. Yeah.
From the beginning.
I don't know how Alexa does it. I really don't. She's been on the calendar for a couple of years now. How on earth she can get this podium going, I have no idea. Utmost respect to her. I've said it all season long, actually, as well. She's unbelievable. Maximilian Gunther on the back. I've got a sore throat for doing the commentary. I don't know how she can do all that. And then she's going to go after this and host the show. Yeah.
Do you want me to send you some soothers, mate?
Please do. Please do.
I'll send them to you after, yeah.
I'm going back to...
I've just been ill.
Are you doing better?
Look, I'm amazed because the morning, maybe if I go back to bed after this podium, I'll feel a bit better.
I'm doing exactly the same. And to help us along, it is the German national anthem. Who takes a fantastic race win here in Tokyo. Oh, is it Monaco, not Italy? The Italian national anthem. I'm severely disappointed now. I thought 2 weeks running, Italy, that's good. Inject it into my veins. No, Monaco. Yay.
Well, they're technically just partners, aren't they? They don't.
Are,
well,
yeah.
there's a weird ownership thing going on.
Maserati take a second win, I want to say, of their return.
Yeah, I believe so. I think Chicago was the first.
Yeah. Last season, of course, we were shouting it out. And Nick Homewood was in the comment box for that one, I think. think that was also Ben Edwards commentating. Jake Dennis finishes in 3rd position here in Tokyo.
Nakajima giving the trophy. There.
Oh wow! Haven't hugged him.
He's not related to Kazuki or Satoru Nakajima. He's just Nakajima.
Very common name, actually, isn't it? Tell you one thing, actually, Kamui Kobayashi, I can't remember, where did he race last weekend? Oh, in the NASCAR at Kota. Horrible luck. Kept getting hit round as well. Stonehouse Jr. as well, just punting him, and John Nemechek doing the same thing. Max Gunther takes the race win. First of the season. What?
Oh. Don't even get to see him lift the trophy. Thank you, PIF and Sabic and Saudi Arabia.
They've literally just...
That's all you get.
What? They've signed off. What? It's 7:27.
They seem not many people be watching this time in the morning.
You've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, they need to do the ads and then the next thing.
Oh, for goodness sake. Are we still in Watershed? My God. Hi, Pico. Hi, Ed.
Yeah.
Right.
£30 to watch ads. That is what TNT Sports is, my friends.
I'll try and
we couldn't have had 5 seconds more just to see him lift the trophy there.
It's champagne time. I'll put my lemonade up and float it against.
I haven't even got the logos with me. I'm still in my pajamas, if I'm being completely honest. And I was able to smuggle.
Here we go. This is what they want to see.
Yeah.
This is what they want to see. Yeah. No, not your bum tigger.
There we go. Celebrations. Brilliant. Yes. Oh my God.
Tigger.
What on earth? Oh, good. I'd just like to point out, good. We've ended the celebration to watch a highlight of a football match that nobody cares about because it happened ages ago. The run-in. Oh, great. Okay, great. Who the hell is in charge? TNT Sports need to get their finger out about this because this is ridiculous, honestly. And I think Whisper need to have a bit of a control over it. I thought Whisper used to do great on their F1 coverage. Ever since they took over with highlights, as well, they now only do highlights. I don't know, it's gone downhill a little bit. Okay, in that case then, let's sum up. Nothing else to go, and we've missed out on everything else. So, Ed, starting with you, what did you make of what we've seen here from the first ever Tokyo E-Prix?
Well, first of all, very early in the morning, felt awful. Race was great though. Great drive by Gunther. The biggest positive for me was both McLarens did horribly and scored no points. So that always makes me smile. And also, as my screen turns off because I accidentally nudged the HDMI cable, always good to see a bit of damage done by Jake Hughes to the front wing with Neom written either side of it. So, but in terms of the actual racing, yeah, disappointing for Mortara because I think Pico is right. He did actually defend very well. And a little bit of disappointment for Oliver Rowland, but he got a little bit outfoxed and still second place is good for his championship. I think he's absolutely in that. And in terms of DaCosta versus Rowland, a little bit questionable from Rowland, but I think you're right, sort of on the limit, but I can understand why DaCosta's a bit annoyed about that, but sort of Rowland's got to defend his position somehow, and thank goodness he didn't put him in the wall. Jake Dennis getting quite lucky, getting on the podium. And Nick Cassidy having a good comeback to sort of keep that joint championship lead with Wehrlein, who has sort of sneaked his way back into contention as well. So don't forget about Wehrlein, he's still in this. Jack
Giamano has just said, has the coverage finished? Just stopped, the world feed stopped. Oh, so they've cut the world feed off as well. Well, a signal satellite must be very expensive from Japan. So, great. So that explains why Dario Franchitti hot-footed it out, because he wasn't needed. Got an earlier flight. Pico, what have you made of it? And first of all, thanks for stepping up to the com box as well. What have you made of the Tokyo E-Prix?
Well, yeah, an absolute honour to be in the comment box with you, Josh. And yeah, no, what a race it was as well. And I apologise that my voice wasn't at 100%.
Better than mine, mate. It's better than mine.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was one. It was a good race. It was a good race, and I think it's a solid race for what all the hype about Tokyo was about. So yeah, no, fantastic. I think that they pulled it off, and I think we should be fine to go back next year.
Absolutely. I want to. It's a fantastic venue and delivered a great race. 2 in a row. Good races. This is getting pretty much standard for Formula E again. And who says you can't race in Generation 3? It seems to all be coming together now, doesn't it, after a year and a half. Next up, though, everything could change because when we go racing in April at Misano, it will be different because for the first time we will have pit stops back in Formula E with attack charge. Very untested system, and it could all go wrong. So a lot to look forward to.
Not happen at all as well. It could get completely cancelled, Joe.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Could, yeah.
Do you reckon it would? I reckon it would.
It wouldn't surprise me, but as from what we've heard, is Saturday will be normal, Sunday will be the debut of attack charge. So we will have at least one race that will be somewhat all right, and then they can test the attack charge in shakedown P1, P2, and P3.
Fingers crossed they do that and don't mess it about.
It genuinely wouldn't surprise me if they do extend at least one of the practice sessions to make sure that the teams have enough time to do attack charge. The reason why they wanted to bring it in Misano is because it's an actual race circuit, so that the infrastructure is somewhat there. And so, yeah, I think hopefully everything will go to plan and we'll finally see it in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, regular now for Formula E, and that's where we are. 2 weeks' time for a double header at Misano, and it will be interesting to see what happens. You can keep across all of it via the Formula E zone as well for the FE Bar, which is on Monday night at 8 p.m. And are you looking forward to hosting that as well and getting all everything sorted with that?
Yeah, my voice will hopefully recover by then. I am at work tomorrow, so I am at work both Saturday, tomorrow and Monday, so I've got today for my voice to recover, basically.
We'll let you get off and get it sorted. Thank you very much to Jack, and thank you very much to Ed as well. Thanks to all of you at home. Well worth getting up for. Everyone now can head back to bed for a couple of hours because the Tokyo E-Prix has been won by Maximilian Gunther. Back live with us here on JB Motorsports then for continued coverage of the Formula E pre-season testing from Jarama in Spain. We've got around about 90 minutes to go, less than an hour actually, 1 hour 22:55. Dan Ticktum is the fastest with Jean-Eric Verne second and Jake Dennis rounding out the top three. Joining me now in the commentary box is our Formula E commentator and pundit Ed Hunter as well. Hi Ed, nice to have you back. Missed you in London when we wrapped up the championship. Nice to have you back in Formula 1 over the last couple of weeks, but it's time for Formula E chat now, and there's so much to look forward to ahead of the new season. And I think the first thing we have to say is amazing work from all of the teams and FIA Formula E to get it moved from Valencia to here and get this crucial test underway.
Yeah, exactly. There was the horrible news of the mass flooding in Valencia, caused, of course, by, I think we can't really deny that man-made climate change is sort of played a factor in that, and the more extreme weather we're seeing, not just in Spain, but worldwide as well on occasions too. So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously a big relief effort. I think Formula E have they've started a GoFundMe page for a lot of the local efforts, and there's also, they're trying to get lots of volunteers in Spain over to Valencia to sort of help out people in need. So that's really, really important, especially given we've seen such a big death toll already. And it's not just that, it's the damage to people's homes, it's the people who've been injured and will need, there's a lot of people for whom this is going to carry on long after the flooding ends effectively. So that is really good. It's also very positive Formula been able to get Jarama organised at the last minute, which it does sort of make, obviously a test is not quite the same as a race, but it does make you wonder about that TVA date that was supposed to be Thailand, and how they basically said, well, our hands are tied, we can't really do anything, so we'll organise. What it sounds like they're organising is a fan day, apparently, is what we heard. We don't know where or what sort of format that's going to take, but it does seem like it does seem a bit unfortunate we can't have another race on the calendar, but I guess with all the extra there's no fans at the test effectively.
Yeah.
Harama, there was going to be a few at Valencia, and I think that's had to be sort of effectively dropped because of the last minute organising. But yeah, it's great to see the teams on track. The only teams I think probably wouldn't have minded that much if the tests had been cancelled were Nissan and Jaguar, because they had to sit out the first day anyway because of breaking the cost cap, which surprisingly much less drama over it compared to Formula One, when Red Bull and Aston Martin technically both broke the cost cap. It's just been sort of, right, missed the first day, carry on as you were, whereas it ran and ran and ran for weeks and weeks and weeks, and there are people that are still bitter about it. Just like there are people who are still bitter about Abu Dhabi 2021 in Formula One. So it just shows you it's different, and obviously, there's far less. In a way, it's kind of sad because there's far less emotional involvement, so people aren't making up nonsense stories. The only nonsense stories people are making up about Formula E. There was an article I saw that was clearly AI generated. That was I forget which F1 Chronicle or some nonsense outlet like that.
Yeah.
It was like comparisons between F1 car and an FE car, and it's like, well, a Formula E car has a battery in the back, and it's like, Jesus, okay.
I mean, technically, so
AI
does a
was
Formula
struggling
One.
here.
Yeah, F1 has batteries in the back of it, and that without it. So yeah, I mean,
Will Buxton has never covered a Formula E race, and I think he would write a better article, like drunk at like 2:30 in the morning, than F1 Chronicles AI generated article.
at least you
But
mention
yeah,
somebody who
It reminds me back in the day where you'd get a load of outlets reporting on Formula E in like the first couple of seasons that had clearly never watched Formula E. Like
Yeah.
I remember in season 2, there's an article about I think it was Andretti, because obviously it was a little bit confusing because there was the Amlin sponsorship that used to sponsor Super Aguri and then started sponsoring Andretti, and they sort of reported Catherine Legg was joining the team and had a picture of Catherine Legg driving the Amlin Aguri from the previous season.
And
It's
everyone
like,
thought, yeah.
guys, yeah, it really shows that some people don't watch it that close. And then even the more egregious ones is where it's just the Formula E article that just has a massive picture of an F1 car on it.
Oh, we've had that
It's like-
several times, haven't we? Back in the early days of it all, and I suppose it's a bit more now. We've gone towards.
For that we don't see that quite. I think maybe it helps that we've had 2 generations of cars that look wildly different
Yeah.
to the direction F1 has gone in. So that certainly helped.
You spoke about Catherine Legg coming in. I just want to get your opinion on the women's test, because they've been pushing this incredibly hard, Formula E. But I think, to me, it's great they're doing it. But to me, I don't like it, because when the championship started in 2014, we had female drivers. They seem to have forgotten that fact by saying, look, we're doing the women's test. We're getting women back in motorsport and all that lot. We'll have our first driver. You've already had your first drivers. We had Catherine Egg, we had Simone Di Silvestro. They were racing the first 2 seasons. And it feels like they're sort of doing it just because they want to have that little social media buzz that they've had a pure women's test.
Yeah, I think that's the cynical way of looking at it, isn't it? You're sounding like
cynical,
me, Josh.
Yeah. The off-season.
And admittedly, a lot of the people at Formula E probably weren't around in the first season, especially in the PR department, let's
Yeah.
be real.
Oh, yeah, that was the first PR department, wasn't it? Just literally had 3 people in an office to begin with. So it was,
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, when Jack and Pico and we did the Alberto Longa interview, we had a lady from the communications department at Formula who'd been working there about 6 months. A lovely lady. I won't reveal her name, but because I don't want her to get doxxed or anything. But yeah, me and her were just sitting in the waiting room, and she was so happy to be quite quiet, and I was like the one handling people, I guess. So yeah, she was watching Alberto. I was watching all the interviewees, most of whom saw one side of me and then ran a mile, but especially new ones. But anyway, so hopefully, I think maybe I was just having to explain what the rules were, and they got bored halfway through, realized they weren't going to immediately be put on the show and asking questions to Alberto, and ran out of patience. But I guess I can't be everyone's cup of tea, to put it mildly. But circling back to your main point and the question you actually asked me, the women's test. I think, to an extent, I kind of don't mind that they're saying, "Oh, well, this is," because it's not even the first all-women's test they've done in Formula E, because they did it in Saudi Arabia back in 2018 when they were trying to celebrate Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, lifting the restriction on women to drive. Obviously, they've still got all the male guardianship laws, so it's kind of pointless because you can't really drive without permission. But hey, they can technically drive.
It'll be America soon, so don't worry. It'll all be fine.
Yeah, I mean, just to go, there is a very, very good documentary that came out while I was on holiday quite recently, actually, called Kingdom Uncovered Inside Saudi Arabia. It's on ITV. And that's really great. In fact, it has a lot of stuff on the Neon project and how the workers have been treated during the construction of that project. And it's not pretty. So I recommend everyone from Neon McLaren to watch it so they know exactly who they've partnered up with. But but anyway, that's not really funny.
We will call them McLaren this year, don't we? Because I know last year every time I said Neon.
Nemo McLaren.
Nemo. We'll call it Nemo.
That's my half-constructed, reliveried Gen 3
great,
Evo Nemo McLaren. But so it's doubly unrealistic. But but anyway, I mean, it is orange.
It's orange.
More orange than last year, so that is a step forward, and from the color perspective. But women's test, okay. I said, you're right. It's not the first women that have been in Formula E, because we got Simona de Silvestro in the test who did a full season with Andretti in season 2. So I guess that was what that one article was getting mixed up with, Leg and de Silvestro, because apparently all women look the same to these AI-generated articles. I don't know what that tells us. But anyway, I think it's obviously it's come from Beth Pareto has joined on the sort of management side of the championship at Formula E Holdings, and I think she did a really good job with her IndyCar team. That was really great. In fact, Simona de Silvestro actually drove for that team, didn't she? The Beth Pareto's team.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
At the Indy 500. Yeah, so obviously she's there to sort of not just to put more women in, but also just to improve the championship generally. And there are a lot of women that work on the championship side at Formula E, and I think that is positive, because you'd be unlikely to get that in Formula One. So you'd be very unlikely to see a woman in the Stefano Domenicali or Ross Brawn's role, say, at Liberty Media's F1. Although maybe in a few years' time that will change. Who knows?
I'm hoping for Ruth Buscombe personally. She's got such a brain on her. Yeah.
She seems to be very good on F1 TV's broadcast side, and of course, the other thing as well. They all. The thing about people like Ruth, I think Bernie Collins to a lesser extent, because Bernie's had her memoirs published, and she seems to be quite satisfied with the way her career's gone. Whereas I think Ruth Buscombe still might be looking for a way back in the strategy side, and I think a lot of teams will probably take her, because both Ruth and Bernie are brilliant. And I think you only need to watch some of the coverage and hear some of their insights to realise that, especially compared to, and I guess that's where Danica Patrick is quite helpful, because there's a point of comparison there where Danica will just repeat whatever the previous person said in her own way and make it sound like she thought of it. But
each to their own. But I'm personally fed up with Danica Patrick after the US election.
Oh no, me too. I know. I'm trying to look on. The
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, I'm saying to the.
Danica won, so
yeah. I just can't wait for
not
Jenson
for
Button.
her own efforts, but still, I mean,
she tried.
She's voting for the first time at 42, which, I'm not sure what Douglas Adams would have said about that. I think Douglas, in one of his books, I think it's Restaurant in the End of the Universe, that has the line about Restaurant in the End of the Universe has a line in it that says something like, on no account should the people who want to be president be allowed to do so.
It should be the job that nobody wants to do, but that somebody has to do. That's the correct attitude. It's like, what is it? Power should never be. Power should never be. Oh, what's that? Is that saying? Power should never be wanted. Power should be thrusted upon you. I always like that. Yeah, it's like it's the unwanted, because then you're not abusing it as well.
Well, I mean, you could have someone really incompetent that this gets it thrust upon them.
Do.
So I don't think that's.
Do.
I don't think it's a catch-all, but but I agree with the sentiment certainly. Women's test. I still haven't answered this women's test question.
Well, we've got around it all. It's a big question.
Yeah. So I think it's a positive that these women are getting a chance to drive the latest spec Formula E car. I think that's never a negative. I feel a bit weird being given this question, because I feel like it would mean a bit more. I remember when they did the Saudi women's test, I was talking to someone on social media who sent me a couple of DMs about it, and because they were criticizing Vision, because they were a big race fan, this lady supposedly was, and she was criticizing Vision 2030. Oh,
red flags come out on the circuit. Don't know why yet. No one's saying stopped on the track, but it's just popped up with a red flag. We last thing I had was car 4 with a lap time deleted. We've got
Robin, isn't it?
Yeah, Hughes and Van
Robinson
Dorn.
carrying in the pits, so it can't be Robin.
Right, Hughes and Van Dorn are stopped in Sector 1. They haven't progressed past that area. Neither has Jake Dennis, so unless there's something going on at the first sector. We'll wait for more information on that. So, yeah, while we wait back
We
to...
have seen a couple of cars shut down in the pit lane, haven't
Yes,
we?
yeah.
During this test. Like Buemi yesterday. I think there were a couple more, weren't there?
Cassidy's shut down on the start-finish line. And
Cassidy, yes.
Bird did it at turn 1, I think, just after the attack line. Yeah, no idea what's happened with the... just a red flag at the moment, so we don't know what's happening on the
Yeah, and I think after... You remember a couple of seasons ago when the Gen 3 was first introduced, they were having a couple of brake-by-wire issues, and we saw some big crashes for like the Jaguar-powered cars, and that had to introduce this emergency brake, wasn't it? So yeah, there's the extent to which they're all sort of playing it safe, especially because it's a different circuit to like Valencia. Is a little bit less of an old-school track. There's quite a little bit of gravel and runoff at Valencia if things go wrong, which you got plenty of gravel at Jarama, but there's also lots of banking. There's lots of, like Nick Golding was saying the other day, there's still mushrooms on the exit some of the corners.
Yeah, he said it looked like it had been done,
truck
yeah.
racing.
I want to get Nick on if he's coming on to the... I want to get him in here for the commentary.
I'm sure he'd love to. It's just a matter of connection to Jarama, because obviously the Wi-Fi at the media center is not necessarily great, which is why Pico's had to go outside, I think, for his segments.
He's on his data looking around the circuit as well. I feel bad. That's why he's not even on for so long. Okay, Formula E Notebook has just said some significant and exciting news coming this afternoon concerning one of the Formula E teams, and a really good news story for the World Championship. I wonder if that's Valtteri Bottas, as he's very much, even though he wants to stay in Formula 1, but that's interesting.
I don't doubt it. I think Valtteri, most likely after the... I knew to say Maloney news, but he's gone to Lola Apt Yamaha, hasn't he? So I'm thinking of Gabriel Bortoletto, of course. He's been announced in that seat. I suspect Bottas is going for the reserved seat at Mercedes, essentially. And I think they'd probably welcome him back with open arms, and he'd probably be happy not to have a huge amount of pressure that he had in the race seat. Although I think he'd probably be more comfortable as teammates with George Russell than Lewis Hamilton over a whole season. But still, I think...
Yeah, I think Bottas, would be good at Mercedes, but from what I can see, Zhou and him are out. I reckon it's going to be Sainz to Red Bull, Colapinto stays where he is, and Lawson stays at RB. We have got no word. No cars have stopped on the circuit. Actually, Mitch Evans and Jean-Eric Verne are the only two out there. Verne is moving, so is Evans on the driver tracker. So no cars have stopped on the circuit. So we don't know why there's a red flag at the moment. So we'll get you news when we do. Yeah, so this whole... we've got Jamie Chadwick coming in, Alice Powell, but Sophia Flörsch once again has had to withdraw from the Formula E testing now. She had it last time, but admittedly she did have a shattered spine at that point after her Macau crashed. But she's out again, and this time we don't know, because she was actually on the plane to come to the circuit. So it's very late that she's moved.
Maybe something personal happened at the last minute that we don't know about. I made a joke on Twitter where Jody, who's one of our contributors, who pops up a lot, does a lot of journalism about Formula E, and just popped up on the FE bar a couple of times, or numerous times actually. She said, this is the second time she's not been able to test Formula E, and my response was, that feeling when you remember you promised to go and watch the Wicked movie with your best friend, and that the Formula E's women test gets in the way. Yeah, there is obviously... I'm not saying they're having to scrape the bottom of the barrel. They've got some fantastic talent at this test. But I think when you look at someone like Alice Powell, who's been in the Envision team, for example, since 4 or 5 years, basically.
Oh, she's a long time now, yeah.
Yeah, she's been testing. She did a couple of tests for them back in the Gen 2 era that went pretty well, and she sort of was taken on full time by the team as their sort of simulator. Technically, their development drive, but also sort of their reserve is sort of implied in the role. And yeah, even Berlin last year when both their drivers were busy at WEC, they decided to reach into F2 because they thought Joel Eriksson and Paul Aaron both had better CVs. And it's a sort of, a lot of female drivers are in a similar boat where a lot of male drivers have better CVs, but that's because it's a sort of opportunity thing, right? Where they get one opportunity, it leads to another opportunity. Whereas if you don't get that, then you've naturally got a smaller CV. So it does require, maybe it does require something like this where women that wouldn't normally get the chance do get the chance to test. But I look at someone like Alice Powell at Envision, who I think could do a pretty solid, maybe not potentially, you know, as good a job as someone like Paul Aaron or Joel Eriksson, but I feel like it's almost for a one-off race.
Yeah.
It almost where Envision having a terrible season anyway last year, or earlier this year, sorry. It almost doesn't matter who you put in the car to an extent, and it would almost be better from a sort of PR, well, not just a PR point of view, but also from a point of view that Alice Powell's been in that team for ages, and all they've done with her are promo shoots. Like, I remember, I think it's 21 or 22, I think, they got Alice Powell to sit in front on top of a Gen 2 car at Downing Street with a pledge that the Conservative government was making about what was it, only EVs by 2030 or something like that. It was like to make sure that all car companies are only selling EVs by 20. And then I think like literally a month later, they abandoned that and said, right, let's make it 2035 or whatever. So that's a sort of already broken pledge. From, I mean, you didn't really need to be a genius to figure out that was going to happen, but it's a shame to see Alice Powell, who has given so much of the sport, who struggled financially, who's been mentoring a lot of the young drivers, like, you know, Billy Monger was being mentored by Alice, obviously before his massive accident at Donington that lost his legs essentially and left him as I mean, he still came back to racing since then, but of course, like Alice Powell, sort of ran out of money essentially, because, which is a real shame because he obviously has that inspirational story of coming back to racing. But of course, he has been a great pundit. So on the bright side, we have, getting some of Billy's insight. Although it is a bit of a shame in the FE coverage when Billy Monger is at the Sky pad and just talk, because he just likes talking, and just talks over the driver's lap completely and doesn't let them get a word in edgeways. But that's the sort of thing where Billy is like in his early 20s and
yeah, it's all new.
sort of, it's a sort of thing where you'd rather have someone that talks a bit too much than too little, I think, to an extent, because you can sort of, someone that talks a bit too much, like I had that same problem when I was a kid, so it's basically just be quiet sometimes. I have the same problem now. I'm not letting you go on edge, right?
What? I was asking you a question. You're answering the question. It's perfect. And plus, we've got literally what, an hour until the end of the session.
It's still counting down under red flag, isn't it? Although
Pico's not going to get anything. What? Track issue.
That does make sense given how old it is. I realized when I saw that onboard lap there Formula E posted today, where I remembered Harama from. I remember the original race driver, well, not the original race driver grid, but the one from that Codemasters did in what was it, 2006, 2007 or something like that.
Yes, I remember the lap now. Yeah, I've played that.
I think it was just called Grid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in that, and that had one of the F3. I think you could drive it in some of the other categories as well, but one of the F3 circuits on there was Harama, and it was ridiculously banked. I love that track in that game. But
it does look. Have you seen from Nick Goldings, the bottoming him out on the top of turn 3 from his Twitter?
I've not seen that. No.
Oh, it's great. You can hear the car's probably scraping as it goes up. I think if I really want to race here, I really do. It feels as Pico suggested, it feels like Zandvoort. So like before they changed it, I reckon this is a circuit which has been forgotten by Formula One, a bit forgotten by time. Let's be honest with you. I still didn't know Harama existed until we said we're testing it. I was like, really? The track exists? So if anything, I would like to have a Formula E race here. I think if we want a Spanish round, here is the place. Valencia is all good, but Valencia is too much of a bike circuit. This has potential to be something special for Formula E, and just by looking at the drivers are enjoying it as well. That's the good thing.
It's a little bit long, is my only thing in terms of like
30, yeah.
It doesn't quite fit with the other. I think it would, because it's been a bit last minute. We're sort of like, well, we'll take what we can get for the test. But I think it's a good track. I think also it's not too far from city centre in Madrid. So obviously you wouldn't have to close too many roads to run it and annoy anybody in the middle of downtown Madrid. And certainly Valencia is sort of out of the question because of all the recent flooding, at least for the immediate future. But of course, let's hope that they can, recover in the coming months, essentially. But I think it would need a little bit more evaluation. I would hope that fans would come, because obviously, like, I'm not sure what the capacity is like and what the attendance is like at Harama for like the other races. And I think it reminds me of some of the debates around Silverstone and the sort of moving the FE race to Silverstone, because we obviously Silverstone, great track, but I wonder if I think Harama may be a little bit less likely to lead to Peloton style racing, because everyone will just be struggling to keep it on the track, essentially, with some of the fast corners. I've just seen some of the footage you were talking about with Nick Goldinger, going under the bump just into turn 3 under the Dunlop Bridge, which it certainly sounds fantastic. It looks like the drivers have sort of got to grips with it already, disappointingly. So can't imagine how they do Harama in the wet, of course, but that would be interesting. But yeah, I think there's a couple of things that would need to be investigated first. But I like the sound of it, but I think there's probably some good reasons why Harama was not the first choice of a testing venue. Not first of all, is which formerly stuff is all had to be shipped over from Valencia in a matter of a couple of days as well. So they've done a huge logistical job to sort of run testing as well. Everyone booked their hotels in advance. Like Pico has had to sort of hurriedly find somewhere else to stay for the night.
I'm surprised he's managed to do it in the space of a week as well. I didn't think Pico would actually get to go at one point.
Yeah, it is somewhat unlikely from him, but
he's
pulled it off.
He's doing a couple this year as well, actually, he said, which is great news. And then hopefully the ones he's not doing, we can drag him up to the comms box as well and bring Giamana in and all that.
Oh, Tokyo is probably a safe bet.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing Tokyo, is he? We just had Tokyo actually on in our coverage with you in the background as well.
Yeah, that's why I thought of it.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm not at my best in that one, because I barely speak. My throat's gone, and it's like
you had
8 in the morning.
Didn't you have laryngitis or something? You were really bad, weren't you, or something or other that day? Can't remember what it was. But
Yeah, I think I'd been probably burning the candle at both ends the night before. It's probably the most likely explanation.
Session's going to
Because
restart.
I'm pretty sure I woke up just before the race,
Yeah.
like within the 5 minutes before, and watched the highlights from qualifying. I was like, right, let's go.
Then I remember because I put the radio, because it's radio coach, I put the radio on, left the commentary box, and just as I went out the door, I heard a Discord bing. I thought, oh, someone's joined the Discord call. Oh no, it's Ed from Tokyo. So I was like, oh, that was when he joined, because it was just at the 5 minutes. So I was like, I came back in,
for that.
I went back out. Are you apologising for past you now?
No, I apologise that era, me being quite late, is now forever in that stream, and you can't edit around it.
Oh, the Discord
not
pings.
easily.
Yeah. Well, we found out how to turn the Discord pings off, so it's fine. But session is go in 15 seconds time, so they'll be heading back out there onto the circuit. We still don't actually know why that red flag came out. We've had a look around, and it's not actually telling us.
Maybe a curb or something was knocked loose. It sounded like
yeah, it was track issue.
Yeah. So obviously, the other thing is potentially it's quite a bumpy surface, isn't it? Because it's like, as we said, it doesn't get used as often as some of the other higher grade FIA circuits. So potentially bits of the track are sort of breaking up, and it's maybe needed to be relayed or something like that. But I think most likely explanation is with all there's like monster curbs at Harama, so I imagine some have just come loose because they've not had to deal with sort of single-seater cars of like FE sort of speeds and ferocity, especially with that acceleration they've got. If they're wheel spinning on those curbs, I could see that could easily dislodge them.
Apparently, another problem was the internet at the circuit is down again. Plus, there's a problem with the timing device. So, the timing at one of the timing loops on the track had come loose from the circuit, as you say. So the drivers running over the loop sector, something must have come loose from the data lasers that they use, and the internet went down. So they had to stop it to fix the internet and fix that track sensor issue. So that's why we've just had the red flag come out. We are back to green. So we've got another 5 minutes, because what we're going to do is replay you part of the FE bar last night when the call-in was on. So everything that was on for getting people's views and opinions on it. So that's going to be on the show. Tonight, the FE bar's on again, 8 to 9 p.m. British time as well. And I don't know if Jack needs a host. I did say I'm around if he needs it.
I think the plan from Jack, what Jack told me, am I allowed, I presume I'm allowed to share this because it's probably what's going to happen,
Yes, probably will.
is that I forget which order, but I think his friend Jasmine, who started editing the magazine, where she works for another Formula journalism outlet, and is a good friend. She's been on the FE bar before and done a very good job. I think it's Jasmine tonight, and then tomorrow night it's Aisha, who's part of Formula E Zone. She's turned into a very, very good journalist. And then I think I've offered to help out for Friday for the sort of post pretend race show, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I was hoping to help out yesterday, but obviously I had to go to Cub Scouts, so I was out of it. Which is why the graphics showed up where Jack had sort of hurriedly gone into Windows Movie Maker or whatever and just put driver, and then there was no fancy graphics. It popped up in white text and then disappeared. So.
I saw that. Do we know it's now Friday, the test race? Because we couldn't work out what day it was. It was Thursday or Friday, so it's Friday morning.
Is it Thursday that's the women's test and Friday that's the pretend? Or are they both? I think we might get both in one day.
I think it's both of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna have a look and see on because we get the timetable, but they've changed the timetable again, so it's really hard to sort of navigate where it is because the notice board doesn't work. It fails on us. And it hasn't been loading in. So all we get here, we don't even get any of the session results. If it wasn't for us, we wouldn't know it. So timetable version 3, here we go. So they've actually made it more detailed now. That's better. Let's have a look.
Here we go.
So, oh dear me.
So the women's test is Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so the test race must be happening during one of the test sessions. You would assume the final one, right? Friday.
Test session 6 is 3 hours long. Gen
that would
3
be enough for a test race.
110 to 140, 30-minute Gen 3 Evo FIA test. Now, would that be the race? A half an hour race, you reckon? Because then at 2 o'clock, it's the test session 7, the women's test session for 3 hours. But that's 20 minutes to change the cars round. That doesn't give them much time, does it? Yeah. So
how about do it the other way around?
Yeah, I would say do the other way.
The women's test be a race, although that would be chaotic. And probably not for teams that want their cars back in one piece. You don't want to put them in a racing situation at the beginning of the season, especially with someone less experienced. And it's not a gender thing. It's just anyone at sort of with the lack of experience that some of these drivers have had in Formula E cars
would not be a good idea to put them in.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping actually as well that we've got whatchamacallit coming in. Dear me, was it really an hour and 28 minutes, that FE bar? You're going to hear, I'm going to have to mute Ed for just a second while I mute YouTube because it's just loading in while I get to that right point. There we go. So we need to send Pico down to see when this race actually is going to happen to find out. So we'll get him down on it. Ed, let's talk about some of the drivers that have come in and the teams. David Beckman for the new Cairo team, whatever it is you pronounce it as. Do you reckon we could actually see David Beckman full-time? Because it seems like they don't have a clue who's actually going to be driving for them, and the season starts in a month.
Yep, here he is.
Here he is.
The bright yellow Kiro.
Like
with no stickers yet, of course, so that's a bit of a work in progress. I think Beckman has this sort of dark red helmet that he's using at the moment. Obviously, Porsche, given that they are supplying hand-me-down powertrains from Season 10, effectively, so they obviously won't see the same development as the Andretti, the factory Porsche powertrains. But one of the things we suspect in that partnership, obviously, there's the Black Forest. Not BlackRock. It's Forest Road. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know where BlackRock came from. I think BlackRock tried to buy Sauber at one point and that failed. I don't know why
that's why Stake took over, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I think they were just a sponsor, gambling sponsor. But anyway, so Forest Road, through bizarrely at the Portland Prix, Dan Ticktum reached out to them, was able to somehow convince them to invest heavily in buying the team. But we suspect because Porsche are supplying those hand-me-down powertrains, which at the start of the season, and especially, I mean, obviously we can't read too much into the times because maybe Race Kiro are the only ones who've been doing the 4-hour runs in this afternoon session. There's a bit of influence that Porsche have, so we think Ticktum, obviously organising the deal, he is very, very likely to be kept on, and we think David Beckman, who did one race for Andretti where he didn't impress too much, but of course it's a bit harsh to completely write off a rookie who had not a great deal of preparation and did like one doubleheader where he was filling in for Lotta and he didn't really look particularly close to the points. But anyway, but David Beckman will have to see. I think it's very likely that he will be kept on and doing the rest of the season, because sadly I think Sergio Sergio Camara has sort of lost out in the road. There was a rumor that Lotterer was being considered, but I think that's pretty unlikely. I think Porsche would much rather test out one of their young guns, whereas Lotterer, I think, is kind of his Formula E driving chapter seems to sort of come to a natural conclusion. Obviously that season 9 with Andretti was a bit of a tricky one, where he sort of began to just really struggle, and obviously with all the races being done in one day, you need someone that's really, really on it. And it was clear Lotterer's interest sort of shifted over to the WEC, and he has won that WEC title. I think Thomas Prenning was also rumoured to be in contention for the role, but I suspect Beckman, given that he's had a bit more experience, is the sort of favoured Porsche candidate. So what I don't know is whether Forest Road can sort of say, well, actually, we got someone else in mind. Are you okay with that, Porsche? And will you still give us powertrains? I'm not sure how the arrangement works exactly, because it's such a new team in terms of the ownership changing. Obviously, it's still ERT/Neo 333/Next TV/ whatever it's called.
Truly, all that lot. Yeah.
There's no point by merchandise, because by the end of the season it'll be changed. But I think I think the livery certainly stands out. They certainly doubled down on the yellow streaks that the ERT used last season, and luckily yellow, or it's neon yellow, neon green, whatever you want to call it. But easiest color to get for Lego is yellow, so one of the very easiest, next to all the other primary colors like red, green. So Envision's quite good, and I guess Andretti as well, Nissan, Mahindra, the reds, and blues. Oh well, obviously dark blue cars on this grid. There's no, apart from the Lola, of course.
Lola's got that touch on the yellow, hasn't there? It's more of an IKEA car.
Yellow/blue, so it's an ideal Lego car. Except that it's the only one I haven't bothered building. To this.
Mark Preston did send me a Facebook request as a friend request. I haven't yet to actually message him to say thank you for making your car the JB Motorsports colours of blue and yellow. So remind me to send him a message. Would love to get him on one of these days, but he's very busy as the new team principal down there, isn't he? At Apt, and now
he's not a team principal. He is still beer maker, beer mayor, Thomas Beer Mayor, who's the team principal of Apt. But of course, he is there as their sort of the technical partner. So
like a Zach
it's
Brown.
A little bit like, well, it's a little bit like who's the boss of Honda? Whenever Red Bull or whatever were being interviewed, they had a Honda guy.
Yeah.
Whose name escapes me, but he is effectively that Mark Preston.
Come on, Matsu rings a bell to me.
Matsu's the Haas team principal, isn't he?
Yeah, Io, come on, Matt.
Yeah, we're getting our Toyotas and Hondas mixed up again.
Completely mixed up.
Yeah. And Haas doing a very good job in Formula 1. But anyway, this isn't. We're talking about Formula E in the F1 broadcast. We're talking about F1 in the Formula E broadcast.
We'll just swap it over. It'll be fine. We've got two.
Just rename them. No one will know the difference. It's only testing.
No one will know. We've got a couple more minutes before we'll hand over to the FE bar. Then I think half past Pico's coming on to show us some videos.
Pico. That should be the name of his segment.
They got
Nick at 9, half past Pico.
Half past Pico, yeah. He always comes on at half past the hour when he comes in, and he's going to be giving us more track updates out there on the circuit as well. I am hoping that. Oh,
this old Steven Seagal movie I've got.
Half past
Dead. Let's put half past Pico.
That's his new segment. Half past Pico.
Maybe Ja Rule should pop up in that as well, and Steven Seagal.
Oh, Steven Seagal. Definitely gonna be half past Pico. Hopefully, I'm gonna. I want to find out when the race is, because then I'm gonna be really cheeky and ask him to go out trackside on the main grandstand. And
the test session starts at. Local time 2 o'clock, UTC 1 p.m. Are we on UTC or GMT? Or is it the same?
I think it's the same now because we've gone back because we're still Greenwich Mean now.
1 p.m.
Yeah, so 1 p.m. Yeah, I'm going to be really cheeky and ask him to go out and film for us and get us some footage of the race.
It would make sense if they did some sort of warm-up session. If they did the women's test was basically just all testing, whereas the race. We'll have to figure out. I imagine that would be the last thing they do, right?
Yeah, should be.
Sort of previous session on that day.
And then it's all done and dusted, and everyone's happy with the race simulation.
Only issue is, somebody. I guess they're unlikely to bin it during the race because I won't be pushing that hard.
It's a simulation.
We see it before. Because I think usually at Valencia, McLaren would always put everything into the test, whereas everyone else, like some teams would just get bored and retire halfway through.
Yeah, I see.
Because it's so irrelevant, isn't it, in terms of the running? Valencia might have been slightly more relevant to some of the sort of purpose-built circuits that Formula E is increasingly visiting. But Harama, with its massive banking, you're not really going to see that at too many of the circuits that FE's going to this year.
Problem is, do you remember when Formula E first started, they put on the race that never was on YouTube, the simulation race from Donington.
Donington one, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually treated like a proper race, and they had the lights, but they don't do that now.
Well,
Safety cars start now.
The thing there was that it was also a test of the broadcast team. It was like the very first sort of public Formula E session, so doing the test race was good for basically good for the fans that had gone over to Donington. And obviously, they wanted to make sure the cars could, because obviously there was so much uncertainty going into Beijing in that first season ahead of the first race that nobody even knew if the cars were going to be able to last, basically.
Oh, we were so scared. I remember that, yeah.
There's certainly there's been a lot of hand to mouth, especially in the first season, I think it was after Miami. Agag had to basically start funding the season out of his own pocket money. No, it's not. He basically was using his own money. He obviously, fairly successful businessman over the years, sold a lot of the Spanish TV rights. And the thing that I was surprised nobody brought up during the FE bar is that Alberto Longo, who we had being interviewed literally literally the same day as the flooding in Valencia, which was a bit of a shock, obviously, for him and all of us, especially because he's local there. Alberto is actually the cousin of Alejandro Agag. So he just said, right, do you want to, it's a journey that started with, hey, do you want to help me sell TV rights in Spain? Alonso's doing really well in F1. Yeah, sure. Then he ends up running Agag's GP2 team as team principal, and running Roman Grosjean, Petrov, pretty top drivers that ended up getting to F1. And then he ends up basically, Agag jumped ship from FE to do Extreme E or whatever else, and he's sort of the logistics day-to-day manager, sort of the most senior member that was sort of there right at the beginning, that's sort of still there at Formula E as well. So yeah, it was a pleasure having him on the show. I really like Alberto because he's a no-nonsense guy, and you sort of whereas Agag will sometimes spin you a yarn, Alberto, he's still pretty eloquent, but there's a little bit less of him putting on an air, if that makes, not that I'm trying to disparage the way Agag does business, but I sort of appreciate the no-nonsense ways of Alberto. And I certainly don't blame him for all the Saudi PIF stuff that I'm obviously pissed about, because it's not really his decision to make, is it? It's Mr. Jeff Dodds who's the actual CEO.
I suppose I also presume that means that we're going to have either Pico or Giamana in for Saudi Arabia. Although, are we at Jeddah? We're at Jeddah, aren't we?
Take your pick. Yeah. I'm not going to be there. I don't care.
Yeah, you're not there.
I'll be maybe listening in the background while I build Lego or whatever.
Yeah.
Or try and get another job.
We're at Jeddah now, not Diriyah. We've left the International Heritage Site. We've gone to the Jeddah Corniche circuit, so it's the same as Formula One, while Formula One build a death trap in the sky. Literally 20 stories above and turn one. Yeah, that's going to handle well with Max Verstappen on the grid, isn't it? And Lance Stroll. It's going to be great. Right.
Oh, is that the whole Quidia thing you're talking about?
Yeah. And MotoGP, apparently. The circuit wants to get MotoGP there. And everyone's been saying, we're not going there. You've got a 20-foot, drop if one of our riders flies off. So, yeah.
Well, it's typical Saudi architect, like if you look at Neom and the line, the octagon or whatever the hell they're calling it, there are these cities there. There's a lot of, let's face it, not the best treated migrant labor in pretty horrible working conditions, where they're basically forced to work like 12 hours a day with very little food and sleep.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And also, even with that, they're kind of behind schedule. Like, the line was supposed to be completed several years ago, and all these supposedly futuristic vanity projects crashed up against reality, essentially. That even with, like, it doesn't matter how many people you kill to get the thing done. There's only a limit to how long people can work in the same day, and how much people are willing to take, essentially, and how many tribesmen you can publicly execute in one day as well. But yeah, I suspect F1 have announced this, a big announcement, we're going to move there in 26 or whatever it is, isn't it? But I suspect it may take longer than that, and they may have to stick with Jeddah or find some other workaround. But yeah, I think people seem to, bizarrely, from my point of view, be quite attached to the Diriyah circuit. And I guess there were a few bits that suited FE quite well. There was the sort of slalom section,
Yeah,
I
that was
guess.
alright.
And there was the fact that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well with the castle in the background. But yeah, Jeddah, soulless, big oil refinery in the background. I think it's perfect for the current state of
Nice one, nice one. Ed, you'll be back on throughout the test as well, hopefully during the race segment as well, so we can do a...
Hopefully that'll be more positive.
Yeah, well, it's testing. We can talk about anything. It's just basically a
Nobody's
test match special.
listening. It's fine. Nobody that matters.
It's a test match special. That's what I love about it. Anyway, thank you, Ed. We'll see you again tomorrow. And of course, the days. Thank you for joining us for what has been about nearly an hour, actually. So perfect. Thank you. Got that time down. For the next 10 minutes, though, you're going to catch up with the FE Bar and have your say on the view of Formula E in testing. Let's go over now, and I'll have to say goodbye to Ed because it's on the same software.
We are
so
set to
go for a giant leap into the unknown.
Tell me when to go and I'll go.
Sorry, it's replaying Tokyo. I forgot to turn it off when we left.
Don't forget you can be on the FE Bar as well.
Yes.
Is it 8 p.m. tonight? 8 p.m. tonight.
It is 8. Thank you for reminding me to do the plug. It is 8 p.m. tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday after every FE test day, 8 to 9 p.m. The FE Bar. That's on Formula E Zone as well, and you can join the guys over there tonight. And even I'll try and hop in as well before I go on for Grid Network. Thank you, Ed, and let's pass over to Jack Giamana for yesterday's action for the FE Bar, and here for some callers. They're listening.
And I am joined online by Mr. Nick Golding from Racing News 365. How are you, my friend? I wasn't expecting a call from you today. I thought you'd be eating dinner or something.
I've had that. I've had my lunch. I had lunch about an hour ago. But I mean, it's Nick at 9:37 European time or Nick at 8:37 UK time.
Yeah, I know. A bit early or late, depending on where you are.
Let's call it the neutral zone.
The neutral zone. I like
How
that.
are you?
I'm very well, mate. I've a busy day and getting
Tell
all the
me
stuff
about it.
ready. I'll tell you what, you've had a busy day, and Mr. Pickering's done an amazing job. We've had tons of interviews today. We've spoken to Taylor, we've spoken to Zane, Norman. Obviously, they'll be for longer features for the magazine in the future, and then we obviously got Jake and Sebastian for the show tonight, which is
amazing,
awesome. And hopefully we'll have a couple of more drivers as the week goes on, coming on for the FE Bars and giving us a little roundup of their day. But how was the day? Because it's hectic, I can imagine, with the media day at the start. And obviously it was a full day last year, but you only had half a day this year, so it's cramming everything in. It was tight today, I can imagine. But what's the stories? What's going on in the paddock? What can you fill us in with?
Well, first things first, Formula E has done incredible. The fact that we have a test, the fact that they've done what they have last minute, 72 hours basically from Valencia being cancelled to then everyone being in Madrid. And speaking to Formula E today, something I discovered was that since Friday, 12 lorries have been used to make 37 trips between Valencia and Madrid to get everything to Madrid. It has been a logistical nightmare, but actually Formula E has outdone themselves. And all the drivers I've spoken to today, which seems like pretty much every single one, it feels like, have all said the same thing, that FE, the fact we have a test is unbelievable. The track is unique. It's not a track very good for FE because it's old school. The curbs are the size of mountains. The surface is shocking. The elevation changes are incredible. It's got a Dunlop bridge, which kind of shows how old the circuit is. And it's actually the circuit which will use the most energy for Formula E. So because of that, they're having to actually reserve how much running they're doing to not basically strain the powertrains, because so much of the track is flat out, which is also why they put that interesting chicane at the end. But not effectively, today, for those who don't understand how obviously a pre-season test works at Formula E, this morning was technically officially media day. So essentially that's when the majority of the interviews are done. Of course, you do get to do a couple after the sessions if there's availability, but essentially the morning was media day. So that's where we had the teams doing their team photos. Of course, half an hour before the session today, we had a minute silence. Obviously,
how cool was that, by the way, that everyone was involved, including yourselves?
I was second row. We were all second row. It was really special, and that shows again just how united Formula E is in obviously supporting Valencia, which is it's horrible what's happened, but the fact we're here is amazing. But without sounding like the biggest pain in the backside going, everything you've seen on track today, completely ignore it.
I understand that, of course.
And there's a very good reason for that.
I just got to make stories, mate. I just got to make.
Oh,
That's my job.
This circuit is very, very abrasive. It's a really weird surface. And because of that, with the softer Hankook tyres, actually, they're getting through the tyres really quickly. So today, they basically did minimal running to preserve the tyres and also the powertrains.
Yeah.
So today was literally just about learning the circuit and, just preserving the rubber. So Zane Maloney, for example, did 31 laps.
Yep.
Across 3 hours, that works out basically 10 laps an hour, which is nothing. So there was very, very little running today. There probably won't be too much more in the upcoming sessions, but the time's going to get faster. We had a 129.2 today. I reckon we'll get down to at least the 126s by Friday morning. There's a lot more time to be found, but they just have to be a bit careful at the moment because where this is such an old school circuit, if you go offline, if you go off the circuit, it's either really thick gravel, there's chunks of concrete, there's some mushrooms on the outside of some corners. You cannot make a mistake here.
It basically hasn't been used in a while.
Well, the last time it was used was this month, actually, and it had 4 truck races. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why the surface is so bad, because obviously, imagine the weight of the trucks pounding down on the circuit, and there are cracks in the tarmacs, in the asphalt.
Yep.
So it's, like I said, it's very, very unique. The curbs are not being touched because they are just so high.
Yep.
And actually, they're really weird because at some corners, the curbs come out at places you wouldn't expect. We did the track walk this morning, and it was an unbelievable track walk. The best way of explaining it is, for those who are of age and will understand what I'm saying here, it's like Zandvoort before it was made to look fancy again. So it's been an interesting day. We have a very colourful grid this year. The cars look fantastic. I've got a shout out, Cairo, however you say it, looks unbelievable. In Jeddah, that car's going to look Kiro. In Jeddah, that car is going to look insane. The Lola looks great as well.
Yep.
The Porsche looks spectacular. I like the Tiger at McLaren. I mean, it's been a really good day, a busy day, but I think the most important thing is the fact that we have got pre-season testing, because actually speaking to all the drivers, and majority of them were expecting for us not to be able to test this week.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Obviously, when we spoke to Alberto, and he was very confident already, a couple of hours after the events with Valencia going on, that we're gonna get an alternative, and fair play that they did that. The only thing that I think is interesting in terms of the track, I know a lot of the second sector is quite fast, but with it being abrasive, might help the teams in terms of their thinking about Berlin, and obviously 2 races there, and obviously Berlin has notoriously been an abrasive surface, and might be some good learning there. But there are some tight, twisty corners, a double left-hander in a couple of corners. So there is a couple of corners where the teams can learn quite a bit from, especially in that first sector, I believe. It's really weird, and the problem is, though, it's a beautiful circuit. It is. The elevation changes. It's a shame that the test hasn't been aired or been shown online. I'm hoping they'll upload some onboards or something, because it's difficult to explain how banked some of the corners are, and the elevation changes the same, which actually it doesn't work very well for Formula E, because if you think of our calendar, the elevation changes don't really exist to this extent. And the same way with bank corners, it's the closest thing. You're not finding a bank corner in a street track. The closest thing we have to it is the downward ramp in Tokyo. Yeah. I mean, it's very unique, and the thing is, though, and this is what was really interesting, because actually speaking to, I had both the Jag boys today, I had Mitch and Nick, which was a really interesting conversation. Yep. And obviously with them guys, there was a bit of speculation this morning, because those who have eagle eyes, the FIA document for Nissan and Jaguar stated that they had to miss the afternoon session on the 4th of November, which, of course, was yesterday. Yeah. They obviously got carried over to today, and they said as well, I can't say for Nissan, but Jaguar, that had they been allowed to run today because the doc said the 4th, they would have chosen not to, mainly because it just would have caused an absolute nightmare in the paddock. They would have been shouting. It would have given us some cool stories, which would have been nice. But the big problem with this track is that Mitch and Nick were both saying that if this had been Valencia, missing a session would not have been too big a deal, because they have data
so much data for the circuit. With Harama, however you want to say it, there is nothing.
Yep.
Which is why this morning or this afternoon, sorry, was really important. Not necessarily to set a stunning lap time, more just to gain data on the circuit to go into the rest of the weekend. Because also, actually, some parts of the circuit on the racing line were damp. So of course, as well, that's going to dry up as obviously the week goes on. So when we get into tomorrow, for example, where 9 of the teams are going to be pushing for it and doing longer runs from the get-go, Jaguar and Nissan are going to be in that kind of Tuesday afternoon mindset of initially for the first 30, 45 minutes, probably trying to gain some data. So I would say at the moment, Nissan and Jag are probably going to be about 40, 45 minutes behind based on how many laps we've seen completed today.
Okay. But that could be caught up, depending on
it can be, but Jaguar, Mitch in particular, is kind of downplaying Jaguar at the moment because they are very much aware of some of the progress that's been made by the likes of the Stellantis power teams, by Mahindra as well.
Yep.
Mitch has been very impressed by Lola Yamaha Apt.
Yep.
And I think Mitch is a bit worried that they're potentially on the back foot. They've been chasing lap time in private testing, he was saying. So it's interesting because actually I don't think everything is too rosy at Jaguar. I mean, I'm confident that they'll, of course, be there come the first race, but they're already playing a little bit of a catch-up game, but that catch-up at the moment now with Nissan as well, who also, private testing has been excellent, do have a lot of work to do.
Indeed. Nick, I've probably said I don't know what else really to add on because you've covered everything really well. So I hope you've had an amazing day, first and foremost, and I hope you get some good rest because it is nearly 10 o'clock there, and you'll be back at the track bright and early tomorrow morning. So thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
And hopefully maybe I'll talk to you afterwards and see if we can get a few more, get Dick or Jack or all of you on the show at some point.
Absolutely, and just for everybody who's listening to this, thank you as well for the love on X today. Likes on my profile are going mental today. So loads more content coming tomorrow. So keep an eye on Racing News 365.
Indeed, one of the best places for Formula E coverage,
alongside
Formula E Zone. I think we try hard, but you are an amazing person to have in the paddock. So props to you and keep going.
Likewise.
Thank you very much. Right, I'll speak to you later. We'll get some more fans in because we've got a couple on the switchboard. I'll speak to you later, Nick.
See you later, mate. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, some pretty awesome stuff there. Let's get Saz and Blake. Blake's now just undefined. We've got Helen as well. We've got Natalie as well. I want to hear from Natalie. We'll go Natalie. But Helen, if you want to come on, feel free to. Remember, exclamation mark Discord to come join. Please hit that subscribe and like button because we will have lots of driver interviews and things coming. Natalie, you are on the FE bar. What would you like to talk about?
I've been at work, so what have I missed? Mr. Ross?
No, cars have just gone round on a circuit now, basically, pretty much. But as Nick has quite rightly said, it's very hard. It was basically a learning day. So he's my story of looking at lap times and seeing McLaren, as I know you're a McLaren fan, 12th and 14th, and obviously Envision had a little bit of a struggling day, but when 13th, obviously he spoke to us about the little problem, the alarm on his steering wheel, and they didn't want to take any chances, so they just came to a grinding halt in the pit lane. And obviously Robin Friends down in 18th on a 2 seconds off. But if, as Nick Golding says, times maybe not too much to be believed, there was a bit more of a bedding in day, which makes sense. It is day one, but we're here, and I'm trying to look for stories, and I'm always looking for stories because Porsche, yes, Jaguar didn't run because of the ban. Porsche starting off strong, Da Costa 29.2, Dennis, they're 5 tenths clear of the DS of Maximilian Gunther in third. So, Porsche starting strong, you could say. But, McLaren down in 12th and 14th, Barnard 12th, Bird in 14th. A little bit disappointing, potentially. You'd hope that maybe they were running or maybe mixing it with, the likes of DS a little bit. They're not miles behind, but like Barnard there, 130.2, 2 tenths off 6th place in Muller. So it's not miles away, but we know in Formula E that it's not seconds or big tenths, like it's small tenths make the big difference.
Mm. Well, like Nick rightfully said, it's testing, so you can't read too much between the lines until we get to Sao Paulo.
Indeed.
But we got to remember Sam won in Sao Paulo last season. So is it McLaren being behind, or is it McLaren having a different run plan to other competitors, say like Envision, DS, etc.?
Say that again. I misheard you.
Is it McLaren running behind as such, or is it McLaren maybe having a different run plan?
Yeah, it could be. They
other
could be having one
competitors?
plan. As they said earlier, it seemed more, like, they're just getting used to the track, so it's still early days, but it's just a small alarm bell. It's like, okay, they're there. Are they going to be there tomorrow? So I think that's the question, basically. If they're there again tomorrow after 2 sessions and, struggling a little bit, then you've got to say, okay, small alarm bells, but, starting to raise, and if that continues throughout the whole test. So you want to hope that Taylor and Sam, for McLaren fans, definitely break in to the top 10, maybe top 5, and show that they can, look like that they're there to challenge. But as we've seen, Maximilian Gumpel back in the day at Valencia was so quick, and then that didn't seem to be the case at Maserati when it came to. We know it does mean nothing, but it does give us an idea. And especially if you look at last season testing in Valencia, Jaguar were quick, Porsche were quick, and that was the story of the season, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it does give a rough indication, but it's interesting to see what happens and who has any stoppages, but not many stoppages at all today, which is good.
The fact we're testing at all is a miracle.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Considering what's happened, it is a really good that we're testing.
So
yeah, that's good in itself. But anything to add before I let you go and try and get some of the others in before we finish up?
Should the cost cap breach have been a fine or not? Because
they were fined. They were fined. So they were fined, and they missed 3 hours of testing. Do you think that's a fit punishment, or do you think that's not a fit punishment?
Enough, to be honest.
Fairs. I'm all for them missing running. To be honest with you, I'm all for it. I think it's not that bad, but it's just, was this session the right session for them to miss, or was the manufacturer days the right days for them to miss?
I think they should have missed tomorrow morning, if anything, just because with Madrid being a new circuit for Formula E, I think they could have at least missed tomorrow morning to give them a chance to have some run time and basically get used to the circuit today.
Maybe, but I reckon Mitch and Nick are they're professional racing drivers. It won't take them too long to get up to speed. And plus, everyone has different run plans, so their run plan will be just slightly different compared to everybody else's. But they can make up that time. They could get out straight at 8 o'clock in the morning. Not everyone else will be out at that time.
No.
So they could just pound round and try and in that time, they could make up a good amount of time that they lost yesterday just from that.
Yeah, and also Envision being at the bottom, it doesn't scare me that much because we've been at the bottom of timing sheets before, and that hasn't been the story of our season.
Yep. And it's
so
still,
I'm not
days.
too worried, but if we get to say Sao Paulo, Robin and Seb are qualifying in the bottom 10, not the top 10, then I might get a bit worried because obviously with Envision running a team's championship winning powertrain again this year, if Jaguar outperform them again, I would start to get a bit concerned as an Envision fan. But we've won the team's championship, so it doesn't concern me as much either, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't have a great season last season, but you're hoping to put the wrongs right this season. And in our magazine, for anyone who hasn't seen the magazine, in the Formula, we had an interview with Robin Friends, and he said, he got used to the style of racing a bit too late last season with the Peloton style. So he got better towards the end of the season, and he did get slightly better towards the end of the season. So.
And what people forget with Robin, when he was with Apt, he missed 4 races due to his broken wrist. So the Peloton style race of maybe Portland, he wasn't used to.
Yeah.
Because when he was with Apt, he missed Cape Town, Hyderabad, and one other race, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, you're definitely right.
Oh, Mexico as well.
Yep.
So.
Well, that was the race where the crash happened, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, right, Natalie, I've got to let you go because we've got just a couple more that I want to squeeze on before we finish. But thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully, we'll speak to you during the week.
Hopefully.
Hopefully too. Oh yeah, I know you might be busy, but you never know. You might be able to get back. Just you never know.
Like today, they
today.
might let me go.
Exactly. You never know. You never know. Fingers crossed. We might get to hear from you again. Thank you so much.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Just to answer some questions in chat, Ben, nothing on the TV deals yet. I'm assuming it's going to continue on TNT Sports in terms of if you're thinking of an English market, I do think, but there is news coming from that. Don't know what it means. But I assume the deal, I think it worked quite well last year. I'd be very surprised, and I'd be very surprised if it ends up on free-to-air TV again. I'd be very surprised with that either. I reckon from early rumblings it's going to continue. So let's get Helen in, and then we'll try and get Blake and Saz in to finish off. Helen, Helen, hello.
Hello.
You scared me for a second because you went back to deafen, and I was like, no. Thank you.
I just unmuted and heard loads of people talking again. I thought, that's quite loud.
Fairs. But no, you're on the FE bar, and I think we're here to talk about Kiro.
Yeah, just to preface anything though, I have been at work all day. I've been basically vicariously living through Instagram stories and Twitter.
Yep.
So a lot of what I've seen is just photographs of cars.
Yep.
Pictures of drivers, and not a great deal of timings. So forgive me if I don't know the timings.
Well,
so
I've got them here for you. So Dan Tickton was 15th. He did a 130.593 compared to DeCosta's 129.220, and David Beckman was a 131.281. So near the bottom. But I think the most important and interesting story around Kiro at the moment is the fact that their drivers haven't actually been signed.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange story, I think, really. I don't remember this happening in any other championship before, to be honest.
Yep.
It seems a bit odd to, as Lou said earlier, about, you having people testing and then you haven't actually got them fully confirmed. Everyone seems very, very sure that Dan's going to sign.
Yep.
He may well do that. And I think I read somewhere, might have been on the race, where Dan was actually the one that put ERT in touch with the guys that have actually...
That is true. So that's true, yes, he did.
So I would like to think that on that basis, that's a pretty good guarantee that they're going to keep him. Although it is racing, so who knows? You might not.
Yeah, it is very...
No guarantees, no loyalty, so...
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 100%, and that's in any form of sport. It is odd. I do think Dan will stay. As I was saying to Lou earlier, I think David Beckman's got the seat, and obviously I think it's obviously a Porsche deal, but the fact that these niggly contractual things haven't been sorted out yet, and we are 1 month, once the test is over, we're 1 month away from the start of the season. That is a tiny bit concerning.
And you can hear more on the Formula E bar later on tonight. 18 minutes to go then. And once again, it's time to join our man trackside, Jack Pickering. Pico's half hour is what Ed's been saying. Hello, Jack. How are you doing today? Start line.
I don't know how I'm going to fill half an hour. Yeah, no, I quite like that. Following in the footsteps of Hancock's half hour. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome along to the start-finish straight. You can see into the pit lane there. You got the Kiro race team. That's new team. Dan Ticktum's in the garage at the moment. David Beckman, I think, is out on circuit. And then Mahindra at all the way down the front straight. But yeah, I thought I'd show you them down at the pit lane this afternoon.
It looks absolutely fantastic down there as well. A few of them are in the pit lane now, actually. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are out on the circuit right now. There you go.
Yeah, that's when we're going through. There's another one coming into the pit lane. It's the McLaren coming through the pits. I did just see a Nissan cut the chicane just before you came to me. So if one of the Nissans gets done to track limit, Ollie Rowland has just gone past, so it could be him. But if one of the Nissans gets done for track limits. That's what's happened there.
So, how's the sound then of the new Formula E for Gen 3 as well? It always sounds the same to me, but there's a few changes.
Yeah, there's a few with and yesterday afternoon we went me and a few other journalists, we went trackside to go out and listen to it properly. We thought that the Lola sounded quite interesting, but then the next time it came round, it sounded like a normal Formula E car. So, yeah, I don't think there's much difference, but yeah, I've been speaking to the Maserati team principal today in the last half hour or so. That was very spontaneously done, but yeah. So I have had a very fun afternoon. You can see that the sun is setting. I'm hiding behind this building so I don't get sunburnt. Because it is quite hot today here.
It looks it as well. The track temperature is at 25 degrees, air temperature 21, as we can hear the cars blasting past you. But yeah, so what has been the big surprise of the pattern this afternoon then as well from where you've been walking around? How was your interview as well?
Yeah, so it went well. The big surprise is actually this team here. It's the Kiro race team who everyone said, oh, you've got a 2-year-old Porsche powertrain. Yes, it'd probably be better than something that the Kiro XERT team would have developed. But everyone said, oh, with a 2-year-old powertrain, that's not going to be able to do a huge amount. But Dan Ticktum was third in this morning session and was running top for a lot of the session beforehand. I'm not sure where he is at the moment because I literally did the interview, ran upstairs, looked at the time, came back here. So yeah, I haven't seen the last 40 minutes. He's second, lovely. But yeah, they look sort of on the pace, and actually, there's quite a lot of teams looking on the pace. Actually, there's Taylor Barnard just down there. If you can see the orange suit,
we can.
You can see the orange suit walking, going up to past one of the masters. That's Taylor there. Got to chat to him yesterday. Lovely kid, and a very quick kid as well. When he did the Valencia test this time last year, he did one session because rookies were supposed to be in at least one session. He did the morning session on the Monday, and then the fire happened, and so they scrapped the rookie thing. But he had the 7th fastest time of the entire week last year, and so he is someone to look out for this year. But yeah, the Kira race team, everyone thought, oh, they're going to struggle, but they're actually looking somewhat quick. And I know that we've been saying this circuit is kind of irrelevant because it's nothing like anything we come to. But the fact that they're looking quick is fantastic for them.
It really is, and the one thing I like about it is that even though Ed was just on before you came and he was talking about how they were ERT and before that they were going through Neo 333, they've actually come in and technically new team, new same staff, new owners, they really have sort of put their energy into it and it's been revitalised. Great livery, they're standing out in the grid, they're attracting sponsors. But the only thing is, do you think that Behrman's going to stay? Do you reckon Behrman's going to stay? Not Behrman, Beckman. Do you reckon Beckman's going to stay in that seat?
Well, we believe that seat is now it's going to be David Beckman's. It's so because they've got a 2-year-old Porsche powertrain. We believe as Beckman comes past me in the background, you might have just seen the flashing yellow. I didn't angle that properly. Yeah, Beckman seems to be the odds-on favourite at the moment. It would be interesting if they didn't, if they raced someone in Sao Paulo who didn't have any time in the car. So that's what the thing is. Neither of them have been confirmed officially. They've just been confirmed for this test, which is very interesting. I would have thought that Tixon would have been confirmed because we believe that Tixon were the people who approached Kiro to start with. And so yeah, Tickton is a shoe-in basically, and he'll be the experienced head. I pined for Andre Lotterer in the FE bar last week, but which would have made sense. A bit of experience and Porsche affiliated so that team can build. But looking like that it will be David Beckman that's going to be in that second seat.
You've cursed Dan Tinkton, by the way. He's just been off track and continued at turn 3. So that was just a few minutes ago.
Oh.
Yeah. Turn 3 up.
That is a banked corner. It is sort of a little bit through there. So it goes in and loops back on itself. But both turns 3 and 4 are completely banked. And actually, you might be able to see. I'll try and tilt it up, but the McLaren mechanics are pushing Taylor's car down. So I'm not sure whether he came into the pits and was told to stop immediately or something. But that is something that, allegedly we'll find out. It's not the first time that that McLaren running through. Sam had caused the first red flag earlier today. He was avoiding another car running the gravel beach. There's no easier way to say that, really.
Yeah.
And then when I joined you last, it was down here at the chicane they built in that you can see down here. That's where Cassidy stopped, and that was just an issue. Jaguar then didn't go out for the first part of this session. We believe it, make sure that everything was fine. So that is what I've been told. Whether that's completely accurate is another thing, but yeah.
What's the internet been like? Because we had a red flag for track sensors and internet going down. It's been like crazy over there.
That's okay. That's what because so we was sort of occupied whilst that was happening. I cannot say much, but we were whisked away by Mahindra for something. It's nothing like top secret. They just needed to do some filming, and they wanted us to be like stand-ins. So yeah, we sort of got whisked away as the red flag came out, and we were looking on the track map and going, no, everyone's fine. And so we didn't know what that was for, but that's interesting that it was for that. But yeah, as far the internet is a little bit hit and miss. The parameter-free Wi-Fi that you can get from the circuit didn't work on yesterday morning, so we've done away with that, and we're using the Formula E Wi-Fi and stuff.
Yeah, that Formula E Wi-Fi is actually quite good, I know. So we've had some interesting things with that. So what are you up to the rest of the test then? We aired your interview with Sebastian Buemi and Jake Dennis just after we said goodbye to you. Yeah, and really interesting from what he said as well. Like it's just mainly for him. The test is just getting used to the car. And then Dennis said about how the track isn't really suited, but it's better than Valencia. I quite found that was interesting.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, this track is better than Valencia. With Valencia, it's very much. I know that Neil Hodgson describes it as this on the TNT coverage, but it's a go-karting track, really. It's not really. So for Formula E, it's kind of relevant, but it's a boring circuit. Whereas this is irrelevant, but this is an awesome circuit because you'll see tomorrow, because I'm going to take you up the hill tomorrow. And we're going to see quite a few corners from up there actually, and the other side of Dunlop Bridge, and so that's what I'm planning for you tomorrow, Josh. This is a fantastic circuit in terms of to drive, that it's completely irrelevant for Formula E. But also, the last corner up there is completely and utterly flat out. So that's why they put the chicane in, to sort of slow the cars down a little bit so they're not hitting the end of the start finish straight at almost 300 Ks.
Yeah, I was thinking because it's best for the regen as well, because there's no regen points on the track to harvest the energy as well. So, yeah, what have you got rest of the day then before you leave and head back? Where are you, Airbnb now, or did you manage to get a hotel?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm in an Airbnb. I'm sharing with Nick Golding from Racing News 365 and Jack Smith from Motorsport Week. So yeah, we were frantically looking at options on Friday night. I have stared at this. I have stared at Madrid on a map for 5 days before coming. But basically, from Friday night until Monday morning, I was staring at Madrid, just working out how to get it. The thing is, we're sort of on the wrong side of it. There's I want to point out there's Edo Morsari. I think you can see walking down the pit. Yeah, probably getting away to the FIA. Well, because we're getting close to the end of the session, I'm assuming he won't be going out again. But yeah, the Airbnb sort of on the other side of it, so we have to deal with the morning traffic coming in. So it's on a clean run, it's 30 minutes, but today we did it in 50.
Oh, lot of so you've hit that traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and so
annoying.
no, it's not ideal, but yeah.
So what are you doing then later on today?
So there will be some interviews. We're speaking to the Maserati guys. I think we are speaking to Edo Mortara. And we'll have Robin Frines and Nico Muller, I believe, as well. And they're going to all go out on the FE bar at 8 o'clock with Jack. And yeah, and then we'll find some dinner on the way home. And yeah, yesterday, because we wanted to go to Carrefour to get some food. Because I'll be honest, the food in the media centre is great. So we thought, right, okay, let's get, because you know when it's like too fancy, like just give us some normal stuff. Like I'm very basic when it comes to my food. Give me a cheese and ham sandwich.
I'm with you on that. I was begging for something normal when I was in Barcelona for F1 testing. I was like, can I just have like a normal sandwich? Can you someone give me a pasty that isn't got paella in it? Can I just have something normal? You literally start missing it, don't you?
Yeah. So that's why we went to Carrefour, and there was a Mackey's nearby, so we went for Mackey's as well. We found this shopping thing. It feels like it's Caesar's Palace in Vegas. Like it looks like it from the outside. It's absolutely mental. We also drove down a road called the Aviena de Fernando Alonso. So yeah, and that's not far from it. So yeah, if anyone in Spain wants to track us down tonight, Aviena de Fernando Alonso, and then there's a shopping centre nearby.
You should go to the Expo Centre. Have a look at the new F1 track. Go to the Expo Centre before you leave.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I was thinking about doing that on Monday, but the thing is, because the test's been shifted, and so it's now 1 day later. The thing is, so I'm still travelling back tomorrow night. So I've got tomorrow, and then I have to. The check flag comes out. I think I'm going to do like one interview and then scram straight to the airport. Because I might leave like 8:35 or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah.
You've got a really busy time then, haven't you, to get into it? So you're mainly doing the European races
Just a bit.
Are you doing the European races, a couple of them?
We will see. Yeah, we will see when it comes to it. Thing is, because like this week got rescheduled and everything.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot on this week and a lot of stuff from Valencia that I'm not getting back to.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so we will see what happens money-wise when we get to Monaco. Berlin. I think they're the only 3 European rounds next year. But I don't think there's any other races.
No, they're all away, aren't they? Yeah. So it's Monaco, Berlin. Double Monaco though, so that's good.
Double Monaco, though, I think that's very exciting. And yeah, and I don't know, so don't push me for it. But I have been told by someone who spoke to Jeff Dodds that there is going to be something very exciting in the 2-month gap between, I think it's Jeddah and Miami. I think there's a 2-month gap. There's going to be something fairly exciting in that gap. So, yeah.
Have you figured out what this TV thing is for yet?
No, I haven't really seen. I mean, like Nikki's here. She's been filming some stuff for TV. I've only seen Nikki and Alexa so far. There have been some rumours that some of the presenting lineup have been cut. Obviously, for us in the UK last year on TNT, we had Jermaine Genius present the show, and there was some controversy around him. So I believe he is one of the names that have been dropped. But there is some surprising names that aren't going to be in Formula E next year. I've heard that potentially to cut costs basically. I haven't seen Saunders all week, so there is a strong rumour that he'll not be here next season. And also Radzi. So
that's a shame. Razzie was the
very
best.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not confirmed, but there are some rumours that I've heard. I also know that Tom Brooks won't be in Sao Paulo, and he won't be covering it because.
Oh, we Jack, if you can hear me, you broke up. You broke up on that one.
To that,
you broke up on the Tom Brooks sentence.
So he's not covering Sao Paulo. He's doing Gran Turismo. That clashes, so Gran Turismo takes priority. So Josh, if you want to get your tuppence in to cover Sao Paulo for Formula E, get in touch.
Go over there right now, and you give them a YouTube channel. Look, I'm doing testing. I'm covering it. They're not. I've been keeping up to date with it. I'll do it. Happy. Do you know? And knowing Tom, I could probably ask him as well and say, "Can we have a go?" Checker flags out though. But yeah, oh god, I'm gonna have a go. They've probably got it sorted though. It'll probably be Ben Edwards, won't it? Thinking about it.
It'll probably be something like that. Yeah. But yeah, who knows? You never know unless you don't ask, Josh.
Precisely. I'm gonna go ask though. Who is it? It's Aurora Media who do the worldwide stuff, isn't it? Or do I need to ask Whisper?
Yeah. Have a word with Tom.
Hey, you're not doing Hey, you're not doing Brazil. Any chance you can send me the details? I'll do it. Yeah, I'll message him now. Checker flags out by the way behind you, and everyone's finished. So you've got to get in for some media laps.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. But it's been an all right day here. Those two. Yeah, the two stoppages for cars, and then the one for that technical problem with the sensors or the internet or whatever that was. But yeah, no, I missed that. So yeah, and so yeah, we got 2 more sessions tomorrow, and importantly, so at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock local, so it's going to be 1 o'clock for you, Josh.
Yeah,
it's going to be the fake race.
So it's tomorrow. Excellent.
So yeah. Yes. So that'll be happening tomorrow to do some pit reporting for you.
Oh, please do. Yes.
If you want me.
Yes. You're signal.
Yeah. All right. I'll take you up the hill in the morning, and then I'll be back here and doing some reporting for you tomorrow.
Your signal was going, but yes, absolutely, 100% yes, Jack. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get your tracks out.
Yeah.
Will be me and Ed in the comms. Right. Thank you, Jack. Go on. You get inside.
No problem. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Jack. Bye bye. Jack Pickering there, who's going to be absolutely fantastic as well, bringing his trackside coverage, and you can watch all of that on the Formula E Zone and the FE Bar. That's coming up as well later on tonight. To give you the full details on that, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday from the daily testing reviews, 8 to 9 p.m. On GMT, of course. That's British time as well. And that is on the Formula E Zone YouTube channel, so you can go and take a watch there as well. Taking a look then at the results, Maximilian Gunther tops the second day of running on the third session here, 128.408. Dan Tinctum is in second with Jean-Eric Verne third, David Beckman fourth, fifth for Nick De Vries, sixth for Eduardo Mortara, seventh Nick Cassidy, Zane Maloney's eighth, Jake Dennis ninth, and Mitch Evans has 10th. Nico Muller is 11th with Oliver Rowland in 12th. Pascal Verline is 13th. 14th for Antonio Felix da Costa. 15th Sebastian Buemi. 16th is Robin Frines. 17th is Norman Nato. 18th on the grid goes to Lucas de Grassi. Taylor Barnard is 19th with Sam Bird in 20th. 21st for Jake Hughes and 22nd for Stoffel Van Dorn as well. A reminder once again for the Formula E Bar tonight, 8 till 9 p.m. GMT. Come and watch and get your voice heard. Join the Discord and the waiting room as well. Get your voice and your opinions on Formula E aired live. What a session, what a day. My thanks to Ed Hunter and Jack Pickering as well. Pico, we're back tomorrow, same as Ed, as we will cover the simulation fake race. And we've got the morning session coming up as well. My thanks to you all for your company today. Take care. Have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.